Hey guys, Jenna here. Sammy's asleep, snoring. It's been a while, so I just wanted to touch base and chat a little bit. We had the holiday season, and then I had a birthday, and things are hard. So I'm just gonna catch up, and hopefully you guys will share back, and I'll share with you. And let's turn the comments on. Now, what you're looking at is a picture I took tonight. I thought it was pretty interesting. I told you on the Brie and Jen channel, on the first channel, the original channel, that there was a deception going on with planes and travel and geography in some type of way. And I give you the information or whatever as I meditate and pray and, talk to God or source, whatever you call the maker. In my heart, I don't hear an audible voice. I did twice in my life, but I haven't heard it audibly in a while. But you just talk to the one who made you. And so I try to tell you what is revealed to me, but it's not always an easy thing to do because I don't always understand what I'm being shown, right? And it's not about me. I'm not special in that way. There are a lot of people speaking out. I'm just another voice added to the I don't know, the choir, so to speak, here at the moment. Trying to change my ways and reach out to God and be accountable for myself and the things I've done and recognize, the error of my ways and try to just go back a little bit. And so I've been doing that. I've been praying and meditating and just really trying to be quiet and listen to God. I've not been perfect at all. I'm trying to completely stop swearing because they say it's like a demonic thing. And so I wanted to talk just about kind of a mixed bag of things, and it'll let you know what to watch for, or if you're experiencing the same things, maybe then you won't feel alone. So let me first say I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional, and I'm not a legal professional. None of this is legal advice nor medical advice. For such advice, seek your chosen professional. Any and all images shared are per the Fair Use Act of 1976, Section 107. So, now that that's out of the way, I hope you guys had a nice holiday season, all of you, guys, gals, guys and dolls. And I hope you were with loved ones. So when I started having the dreams and things like that began, I've had them my whole life, but things got really intense around 2017. And I feel like I was being called back to God and just having these strange, I called them dreams at the time, but now if you've heard my testimony, I believe that they were some type of encounters. I don't believe in aliens, so to speak. I've never seen one. I believe there's a reason when these intruders come into our homes that we're half unconscious and we are pretty much drugged, I believe. I do believe it's demonic. I do believe in angels. If you want to call them aliens, that's fine. Because you have the Anunnakis, the Sumerians, you have the different stories told about them. And if you read the Bible carefully, you'll see that technology is mentioned, and so are vehicles. And I said that on the original channel too, and I see now Enoch, the one man of color, I like him, the young man, talks about that same thing sometimes. So it's really nice to see the things that we've talked about for the last several years really coming to fruition. But it's also I didn't want to be correct about this stuff. I didn't want to be right. And so these things are hard to talk about because I haven't left this home area in a long time. And God still is showing me things through the people I know and love. And that's really hard. And so I don't know if I'm seeing the spirit of Antichrist because, they are legion, and we'll talk about that a little bit in regards to energy. I don't want people to think, oh God, this girl points at to everything and says demons, because I'm not that person. I try to use logic and reason and scientific method first, and then if all that fails, You know, I go to the supernatural, but I do believe that things start in the invisible, in the spirit. But I think we have a misconception about spirit, meaning like that these things cannot interact with us, or that they do not have solid bodies. And I think that's folly. I think that's a really big misteaching or miseducation, and I don't know if it's done purposely or not. Um, oh, let me tell you real quick what you're looking at. I took this evening, and I said there was some deception going on with planes. I live right down the road from a reserve air base, and a local, smaller airport is right beside it. And it's not even 5 minutes away, really. And you would see on the other channel, on the Brie and Jen, when I would do walk and talks and stuff, there was always planes going by, right? And I live in between two big city airports, Cleveland and Pittsburgh, not to mention all the ones in between, you know, like Cincinnati, Columbus, all that stuff. So I live in an area where planes were a constant, and we don't see them very often now. And you don't hear them very often now. And I've been talking about this for a long time. And again, this is so surreal to see the things that I've talked about. I almost feel like that's why I kind of feel like more people than I'm aware of are seeing my videos, because it almost feels like people are mocking me. Like the girl on the plane, like that MFer, she said is fake. I'm not going back there, but if you all want to wreck. But then now recently she did the interview because people kept posting the video and wondering what happened to her. And I don't think that's the same woman at all. I did a video on it. You can go back and check that out. But what you're looking at here, I thought this was weird, okay? Because usually, again, I live in between these airports, so I know their flight patterns and the paths they take, and this is not normal. And I've never seen, you know, when a plane is taking off and it goes in like that turn sometimes, I've never actually seen anything left behind for this long. But what's interesting is, if I'm going to enlarge it. Now, if you look behind this tree right here, there's another one that was starting to fade. Now, it's a cell phone camera, so it's not great. I will be starting to use my camcorder, but that's going to be mostly for outside and for a couple experiments, and I'm going to touch on that. I know I've been posting about it, so I wanted to address exactly what my theory is and how I feel like I want to prove that out with physical evidence. So anyway, here's one plane, right? And if you look, you can see it turned too. It did the same thing. So both of these planes, just a couple minutes apart from each other, did this turn, right? Now, what is strange about it is that usually this is in the exact opposite direction. They take off, like down here by where my picture is, my little avatar thing right there. That's the road you go down to get to the airport. You don't go this way. They don't take off that way. It's usually on the opposite of the sky here where you can't see, down the road the other way. So that was odd. And something popped up on Reddit about things in the sky tonight, and I guess there's some CE5 contact being planned. I know that the other guy did that too, the one that everybody loves, but I think if there are reptilians, I think he kind of resembles one. I'm sorry, he does. What is his name? The alien guy and the meditation guy, and he says, you know, he teaches you how to contact them and meditate and bring them to you and all this stuff. Gosh, I forget his name. He always wears those green polo shirts. He was a physical therapist, I think, before he went into this whole meditation guru type thing. I think he's a misinformation specialist. That's just my opinion. Do I think aliens could exist? Sure, I do. And I'll tell you why I'm talking about all this in just a minute. I wanted to do kind of a summary catch-up video because we have the eclipse coming up, and there are things in the news right now that I have been talking about for a couple of years. And again, this is very surreal for me. This is not easy, so please be patient, because I do believe this information can help you to see things. But I want to tell you, I am not... Hi, sorry if I missed out a bit. Oh, no worries. I've kind of like pulled back a little bit myself. You know, it was the holy day season, so it's all good. I hope your family as well, and I hope you guys had a nice holy day. I don't know if you celebrate still. I know a lot of people stopped celebrating Christmas. I do believe it's too commercialized, but I don't think we should stop celebrating it. I think they're trying to erase everything with Christ in it. While I don't think we should have Santa Claus, I think St. Nicholas and Christ, mainly, I grew up with that. My dad, I'd go to midnight mass with my Grammy and we'd go downtown to Pittsburgh and they had this setup of all the Santas from around the world. And each country has a different legend or folk tale, and they are not all good. Like some of them are little wicked elves, so they're tricksters. So it's interesting to see that contraction, but being raised, going to CCD every weekend and being catechized and learning doctrine and stuff, it sticks with you, and I'm glad it did. I know not everybody believes in Catholicism and you don't understand it and you think that we are idolaters. And again, I don't agree with everything that we're doing down here either, but I am so flawed and I am just trying to improve myself right now. There are enough channels pointing fingers and playing the blame game, Messed up holidays. Yeah. So I'm trying to look at myself and just be accountable, because scripture tells us that those who repent and turn to God and his ways, their land and their bodies shall be healed. And so that's what I'm trying to do. And I feel like the worse things start to look, the better I try to make more shinier. I try to make myself, hoping it'll rub off on people. We are all flawed. Indeed, we are. But I've really messed up. And I'm in the situation I'm in now. And I don't tell the story because I want pity. I tell it so that other people can maybe recognize things. And I'm going to talk about some superficial things. But there's a reason for that. I've specifically asked God at the beginning of my journey, look, I'm not wise. Like, I'm a fool. I'm book smart, like educated. I can memorize facts and things, but I'm not, I had no wisdom at that point. And so I just asked God, show me something physical so I know who my enemies are. And that's when he led me to that psalm talking about people's teeth. And again, I'm not trying to pigeonhole or stereotype here. I'm saying if you create a picture, a physical picture, you really do start to see a type, right? And there are reasons there are certain stereotypes. And there are reasons that when things are working in the spirit, they manifest in the physical and you can see the patterns. And if you learn to recognize those patterns, we can learn how to navigate these choppy waters of tribulation. I personally believe we're in tribulation, but I have questions about how long. I disagree with a lot of doctrine from the Protestant side of things. And I don't mean, again, I mean no disrespect, because I love you guys. We're all brethren, I believe, and we all have the same fight and battle right now, and when we need to unite over that. But there are certain things that I just don't understand myself, and I've went to Protestant churches and prayed with them and learned with them, even went to Bible study, because I was just really digging in, trying to find God. Where's God? Where's the Holy Spirit? And I ended up like Dorothy, it's inside you, right? The Holy Spirit's inside you. And you just have to remember this. And I was so dirty and, fallen, that I've really had to claw my way out of this hole. And a lot of people have support. They have families that help them do this. I never even had a parent or anybody teach me how to drive and encourage me to get my license, except for my mother-in-law a little bit. And I don't know that I would drive anyway. I've talked about this ad nauseum as well, but I do have feet. And the second God tells me I can move, I'm going to bounce, because he told me to stand firm at the beginning of this and to stand in the gap. And that's what I'm doing. A lot of people don't understand what I'm doing, but basically at this point, I'm kind of bait. And I'm standing in the way of something that is in this area. And I don't want to use definitives right now. I know that God has shared a lot with me, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute, about what's in the news right now. But again, for people who are new or don't understand, watch the 2 featured videos about my testimonials. There's a playlist. And those of you who've been with me for the last, 3.5 years now, 3.5, half of tribulation. I'm doing 31 days of Proverbs. Oh, that's awesome. Handle religious people and sinners. Not saying I'm all high and mighty, but Proverbs helped. Yes, I love Psalms too. And they're little nuggets, right? Like, I even like Chinese Proverbs because I was listening to a video about them yesterday, actually. And this guy was defining Proverbs, and I really liked what he said. He said Proverbs are basically condensed common knowledge, things that everybody learned and could see from experience in everyday life. And it's practical advice that you can apply. And I really liked the way that he explained that, because that's how I feel about, I know you're not supposed to cherry pick verses and stuff, but that's how I feel about Proverbs and Psalms. I feel like they're almost a supplement to scripture, right? Like, I feel like Psalms are songs because David was a musician. That's what, he sang those Psalms. Um, and Proverbs, he was right. Like, they're little nuggets of almost like a fortune cookie. And I don't want to debase it like that. But that's awesome. I will have to bounce over to your channel. Like I said, I've been kind of out of the loop. I apologize for that. Um, so yeah, where was I? I'm sorry. I got all caught up. That's awesome, though. I really like to hear that. I I know the Bible is important and I want to do scripture too, but I'm really trying to reach out to maybe people who don't know Jesus and don't know that God is working right now in our daily lives. So I'm going to try and still do biblical videos, but I took a lot of grief for that back in the day. And I wanted to make sure that, like, my doctrine is where it needs to be. And I don't want to be taken as teaching people. The whole goal of the channel is to, like, journey with me, journey together, and let's grow together, right? And talk about what's happening, because I do believe it's tribulation. And, I'm funny about the timeline, though. I'm wondering if 7 years is correct. I know that when they talk about David in the Bible, and Joseph in the Technicolor Coat of Dreams, he talked about putting away, and that's what tithing was back then. It was like you gave to the communal, basically, like today we'd have a silo, right? And everybody gave their crops, like corn or wheat and grain, and they would store it for hard times. God warned him a hard time was coming. And that's what me and a lot of smaller YouTubers have been doing. And YouTube has gotten very commercialized, right? You are called to, oh no. Why does it do that? You are called to a special group of the lost. You do what God desires of you, even if others don't understand. Thank you. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you not judging me, because I really like your videos, and I think it's weird, though. I got kind of freaked out because you were doing, what were you doing? Oh, a lesson on spiritual warfare and the armor of God, what the armor of God is. And I've said that exact, like, prayer. I've gone through that because a lot of people will just say it and they won't actually say what it means, right? They won't point to the scripture and say, okay, this is how you define this. The helmet of salvation, that's a mind like Christ. What would Jesus do? The girdle of truth, gird yourself up in truth, stand firm in truth. So it was weird that you had that lesson. I'm like, it's happening again. Like, I don't know if we're on the same wavelength. Again, it's so surreal for me to be talking about things for the last few years and seeing them, like, happen. And I asked God at the beginning of this, I'm really dumb, so please show me things physically to watch out for. And I started noticing patterns, like basically an algorithm in everyday life. And if I were God, I would kind of do the same things. I guess that's what natural law is. Things take care of themselves in a way. I guess you could look at like that and say, like, the Matrix relation to that would be the, Agent Smiths. We are within the Spirit of the Lord. Amen. 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 Or you could call them, like, in the Adjustment Bureau, it was the guys in the suits, right? And I got to do another video about that, because now I got to talk about a boogeyman. I got to talk about this stuff. And people are going to be like, why are you talking about this? But I think this is how we're getting so many demonic things right now. And I think this is how we're getting so many beings. I think they're presenting as what people are afraid of. And if you notice all of these stories, Slender Man, Bigfoot, even Targeting, if you look at targeting and what it really is, and I know people hate me talking about this, and they're like, oh, you can't, people won't understand if you say it's demonic, but it is. Like, it totally is. Um, it's all the same. It is demonic attachment, right? And I know about this because my mother opened me up to the occult at a young age. And things started getting very weird for me. However, since I've run back to God, it's like a different kind of weird. I don't know if that makes sense. This is so hard to explain, guys. I tried to build trust on the other channel, and it sucks that I deleted all the content. And I know people don't understand why I did that. The channel had like 250,000 views at that point, but I couldn't. We were getting into a new time, right? Like that was me warning people, repent, this is what's coming. This is what God is showing me. This is, and it's not about me. He's showing a lot of people these same things. And now we're at a time where these things are occurring, right? So let me tell you about a strange experience I had the other day, and then we're going to get into the current events. So I went out to eat. And again, it's local. I've not left my home area in a long time. I never get a straight answer as to why we cannot go anywhere. We used to go every weekend to Pittsburgh so that I could visit my dad and take care of him because he was dying of cancer. And even if we weren't getting along, my spouse would take me because that's just how he was. And all that changed. Like everything's different now. And it's not just because of what I did, like it changed before that. And the dreams and stuff started before I ever fell from grace, I guess, if that makes sense. And so, anyways, we went out to eat, and we walk in, and there's like no one there, right? Nobody. And there's cars everywhere, right? There's a little plaza. There's like a Myers or something down the road. And across the street, there's a Walmart. And there's always cars. There's always a gang load of cars. But you go in, and there's like nobody there. And so we're standing there waiting, and then we go get seated. There's nobody else in the restaurant. And the same person who seated us goes back, I don't know, to cook or do dishes. And I saw a lady I used to work with and who used to be my neighbor. People are of the world glorify darkness and make it seem like it's bigger than God. But if they only just knew God has the power to destroy the soul, just thinking about how stray the world is. My comments are a bit delayed. That's okay. Yeah, when you live stream like that, I apologize. It might be me too, because that's just how it is here. Oh, there we go. Shoot, now I forgot. Oh, and so I saw a girl that used to be our neighbor. Now again, remember all these women and men around here. One of the partners is always on SSI, and there are a lot of widows in this area. Okay. And I think that's on purpose. I think that's by design. And if they're done with you, and I think this was all planned, I think these people were raised like this. They were literal, like they knew they were tares. And I know Jesus said they know not what they do, but they did. Like they signed up for this. Now they might not know what they're doing. And I'm going to get into that too I'm going to flash back a little bit, and you'll see what I'm laying out here, I hope. So we go to Eaton Park. I see that girl. She's in the back. She's a mom too. Our kids played together. I used to hang out, at the pool with her and stuff. So, I mean, I think we even worked together at one point in time. I don't remember exactly. But we know each other, right? And I think she just like nodded her head. She was back in the kitchen. But there was only 4 people there, and the girl who waited on us was a daughter of a nurse I used to work with. And her husband was a cop. Again, these stories that people tell me, they're important too, because everybody's telling me stories. It's like they're trying to warn me. It's like it's about me, but they use other names, and it's just weird, and I'll get to all that too. I'm sorry. It's all good. So the girl who waited on it, like I knew the people there, right? And that was it. There was nobody in the whole place, but there was cars everywhere outside. And I'm like, am I patient zero? Why every time do we go out is there barely anyone anywhere? Like what is happening? Okay, now if CV's a legit thing and it's like the Egyptian plagues, right, that Moses brought down, again, I'm getting into all this. When I first came back to God and I said, just tell me, who am I to you, God? Who did you make me to be? And I always felt, even from young, like I used to write Jesus letters. Like I was a weird child, okay? I was just weird. Other kids wrote letters to the Tooth Fairy, and I wrote letters to Jesus. And stuck them under my pillow. And then when they weren't gone, I was like upset, but whatever. And I'd beg him, please get me out of this situation. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll help people transition from like purgatory. I'll go to whatever needs to happen. But please get me out of here. My mom hates me. I hate being here. And it was very hard upbringing, kind of. Embrace your weirdness. Yeah, right? Like we are a peculiar people, it says, the followers of God. So anyways, I asked God when I came back to him, and again, I'm very like childlike with God. Like however it happened, God has given me back the spirit I had when I was like 12. And I know people are going to think that's weird, and I don't mean to say immature like that. I mean, like, there's a difference between innocence and immaturity, right? Just like there's a difference between intimacy and just canoodling. You know what I mean. Um Anyways, let me get to the next thing where I'm trying to go with this. I apologize. So I asked God, what is it you want me to do? Who am I? What am I today? What am I to you? And God's funny because I'll ask God for a word and God will give me a word, like a word, and I'll go look it up or however I get led through it, right? But God has a sense of humor with me and it's all good. Is being refreshed. Amen. Amen. But it's hard because my heart is really soft in one way, but it's hard. My heart has had to become hard where I'm at because I'm broken. I'm like in pieces, right? Um, the mother heart in me breaks every day. And, yeah. So I asked God what it was he wanted me to do, and he gave me a word. Like, so I got to be specific with God, right? Because he's fun. He's got jokes. God's got jokes. And I just talk to God like that. He's my dad, man. So I talk to him. He's Abba. And so I said, what am I? Who am I? Who am I to you? And give me a word, just a word. And I sat there for a little while and I meditated, and God said, witness. I didn't know what it meant at that time. I didn't know if he meant like witness to a crime, which is very possible because I have seen things that I probably shouldn't, and I know things and caught on to things that I know they don't like me knowing. That's why I'm kind of kept in one place. I'm really curious to see what'll happen the day I put my backpack on and just walk away, because I think that's what I have to do. I'm not telling anyone else to do that. But I feel like God is calling me almost completely away from technology. And I don't know if he's going to do that where I'm at or if I'm supposed to physically remove myself. So I'm praying on that. But God said witness. And so I started witnessing on YouTube about the things that I was seeing happen in life. Our hearts get hard. We need to get deeper intimacy with the Holy Spirit, especially when he's taking us into tough seasons. We need a tight relationship. Amen. Right, right. And I've started, like, when I pray, I try to address the Holy Spirit too now. You know what I mean? I feel like maybe I was neglecting that. And so I always ask the Holy Spirit to go ahead of me and touch the hearts of the people that I'll interact with that day, and to guide my steps, and to leave behind me a fire in the hearts of people for the Lord. So, yeah, you're right. You're right. And so God said, witness. And so I started witnessing everything that I was seeing. And then I read Revelation, and people started asking me, you mean one of the two witnesses? Now, I started doing a study on that, and I do believe that at least one of the witnesses is a female. I can't tell you why I think that. However, it refers to the two witnesses, and Protestants don't. I don't know if this part isn't in that book, the KJV. I think it is. when Christ has his transfiguration there on the top of the mountain, there's two people that see that, right? And I think is it Elijah and Moses, maybe? I can't remember. I'll get to that again. I've got to touch up on some of the Old Testament stuff because I want to do a study into Moses as well. So that's coming. But it's going to be weird because again, I've noticed things in his story that I'm really curious about. So I want to touch on those things. And I read Revelation, and when people ask me about that, I don't know what to say. All I know is that I'm in a very surreal situation and I'm being gaslit. People around me are kind of tormenting me, but it's not them. I realize that it's spiritual warfare. I know this. But at the same time, I've caught on to some things, and I've talked about these things, guys. And I know how they sound. I know they sound crazy. I thought I was crazy at first, too. I prayed that that's all that was wrong. But for whatever reason, I recognize a spirit in people, and these people don't always look the same. Elijah and Moses. That's what okay, thank you. Wait, let me read that. I didn't get the end. Why does it do that to me? Bollocks. There it is. Met by Jesus at the train. Yes, on the mountain when he takes Peter and James and John up there. Okay, thank you. So they refer to them as witnesses in that verse in that book. So again, whenever there's a word used in scripture, you want to take it back to source, back to the first time that it was used. And that's why people saying like Christ is coming with a sword. Yes and no. The sword of truth is your tongue. It is the word. And the word is what divides people. Because a lot of people, especially today, in this society that we live in, I did say thank you, right? I hope I did. I get a little, loopy at night. I've been out all day and it's been really hard and things are rough. So I'm just trying to keep it together right now. Shoot, now where was I? Darn it. Now I totally forgot what I was going on about. Anyways, things have been really surreal since about 2017, and I've talked about this, but I want to flash back to a couple things that happened before any of this happened, and you'll know why in a second. So when I first, and again, I don't use names because I know it's spiritual, like what I'm battling here, but these spirits, I think, I never used to believe in the rapture, and I thought maybe a spiritual rapture had occurred, but now it's looking like something was done purposely and these people knew what they were doing. And if you watch my reincarnation videos, you'll get what I'm saying about that. I enjoy that you're going on about how Jesus is coming as a sword, but also our king. Thank you. Well, yes, and see, people say, he's coming with a sword, but it's not a physical, it's not a physical sword. And I feel like these cults that are out there, Hebrew Israelites, I really like some of them. I've had good conversations with them online. But, first, you're saved by faith, right? But I do believe after that, the works are supposed to come. If you're actually saved, you're going to start seeing that in that person, right? The fruits. You're going to see those spiritual fruits show up, right? Like me, I'm being delivered of cussing. And you're right, exactly. He is going to judge. I'm not saying judgment isn't going to be terrifying. Let's get that straight right now. That's the one thing I'm afraid of. I'm not afraid of anything else but God, or Jesus telling me, I don't know you. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know. Actually, yeah, absolutely. So I don't want people to think I'm taking that light or making light of it. I'm just saying that spiritually speaking, Christ isn't, we're not supposed to come to blows with people, I don't think. I know Old Testament stuff they did. But people are supposed to be delivered of demons when they have them. And I think that's what we're dealing with, but on a whole nother level right now. And I think we're dealing with it for a variety of reasons, and I think we're to blame. I mean, I do, but the word said this would happen, right? But we're also not supposed to be complacent. We're not supposed to just sit on our hands. We are supposed to participate in our own salvation and sort it out with fear and trembling, right? So I apologize if I go back and forth a lot, but there's a reason for that. So when I first met my spouse, he said he had lost hours of time when he was living down south. And we were talking about aliens or what have you. Now, I don't know if this was a setup from day one or if he had literally been manipulated by some outer source. Because I told you what I believe happens in those quote-unquote abductions. I think something is attached to people, spiritually speaking, not to mention chips or whatever. We're chipped, basically how we chipped like sharks and things to track their movements. That's pretty much what they do to us. We are the peacekeepers, right? But when dealing with sinful nature, it dies a bucking horse or drowning a snake. I like that. And we're supposed to be blameless as a dove, but wise as a serpent. And we're supposed to move in a proper way and operate, right, and function from a certain place, right? And I'll say that, like, I've really been working on, like, I don't argue anymore. When I first had my head injury, and people get this confused, and I really, this is the only thing that really bothers me still about doing this is that, oh, you've just got capybara syndrome, or you have bipolar, or, it's your head injury did all this. I got the head injury because I started talking about these things, because I started noticing changes in people and their robotic behavior and script-like speech, if that makes sense. And when I went from makeup and I hit my knees, I went from doing makeup videos to videos about God. Facebook totally fell off for me. And I believe I was set up by people around me to fall. I'm not saying I'm not accountable, because I am. But we're not supposed to do that either. We are not judges and juries unless God makes us that, right? It says you shall judge the very angels. So at a certain point in time, we may be involved in all that, but if we want forgiven, we're supposed to forgive. So I'm really trying to move right through this, but I do still get like, I hope it's righteous anger, but like, my family is obviously not saved, and they're not just not saved. They're like, they would get violent when I would leave sermons and stuff on in the house, and they were around. It is demonic. Like, I don't know what else to call it. I don't know what else to call the behavior. And I've been abused in disgusting ways that I won't talk about by my own family. So, and they don't remember it. Like, they don't remember doing it, or at least they say they don't. In Proverbs, it shares, mockers and fools cannot accept corrections because they hate knowledge, but the wise appreciate correction for the sake of love. Amen. Like, I need that. Like, I need people to keep me. I know my doctrine can stray. Like, I know that. But at the same time, I feel like we need to be a little bit open at this time, because I think we've been taught by a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing, if that makes sense. We're going to talk about that too coming up. So, my husband had said he had lost time, right? And then I was visiting Ohio before I moved here. And we were in the car one day, and out of nowhere, he just says, absorb the radio. I don't like, and he doesn't remember saying it. He don't know why he said it. And then in like 2019, after my head injury, I was looking at the sky and I'm like, look at the sun, and it was shining. And that's when I realized, wow, there's a firmament, but why does it look like that? Because it was almost like an oil spill, you know how it gets murky through glass or whatever, kind of like that, like rainbowish, but it was like dirty looking almost. I don't know how to explain it. And he was like, don't look at it. Don't look at it. And I was like, what is wrong with him? Like, why is he going on like this? He's been like that. He'll say things that he does not remember saying, and it's been our entire relationship. Very weird things, like out of nowhere. When the towers came down, he said something like, they've fooled me too many times now. Because I said, oh my God, we're headed into like biblical times here. And he's like, yeah, they've fooled me too many times. He doesn't remember saying that either. Like, and this is not a biblical person, right? Like, my husband listens to death metal. It's all, he's not very anti, okay? Very, very anti. And I do believe that my own family, like, had it in for me. They literally wanted to do me in. And if you watch my testimonial, you'll see all that. And that's why I don't use names. Because what matters here is that these are our loved ones. And they either A, need help, they need deliverance, and this is why I disagree with some teachers. They say, well, the person has to ask for it, they have to consent. That's BS. They're not going to ask for consent if they don't even know they need it. So you have to start with like praying for them and trying to get them to fast. You need to keep growing through your special shoot with God. Only comes through private prayer and worship with Him. I gotta go. Amen. Thank you. Oh, I do. I pray all the time. Like all the time. That's one thing. Oh, and I pray for you too, just so you know. I love you, sister. Take care and stay strong. That's very sweet. Thank you. You too. So I believe that these quote unquote alien abduction things are happening, and something is happening to people, right? Whatever it was, though, did not work on me. I remember struggling when I thought I was dreaming at first. I couldn't move and I couldn't really speak, but I remember like saying no. And I, there were very strange things happening and said to me during these abusive sessions that make me really wonder, like, it's people know more about my life and me than I know about it, right? But you have to listen to people, because with this targeting, and I don't talk about this a whole lot because I don't like, honestly, I don't like the audience that it brings to the channel. People don't want to hear that it's demonic. But what would you call it? If your neighbors and your family is spying on you, it used to be called neighborhood watch, right? We remember that from when we were kids. At this point, it's gotten very out of hand. And if you don't like somebody, all you got to say is they're a child harmer, and that person's reputation is done, whether you prove them guilty or not, which is very hard to do because there's never any evidence. There's no witnesses to this. And I know for a fact, and you guys know me, I've stuck up for this. This is a personal part of my testimony that I'm not going to talk about yet. I don't know if I will talk about it. But talking about child harming and posting it on Facebook is what started me getting dropped by my family and friends, and my siblings are in the rainbow community. And I love, like, that's not what this is about. Like, I love them. The point being that I was trying to make was, why involve the children in all this? Like, why at the libraries and all this stuff? I don't understand why this is all happening. And the laws are being changed for age of consent and all that. And it's worrisome. It is. But I'm not going to point fingers, because I have had people talk to me about this. First, my sister talked about like how the neighbors were changing their, they were going to go swimming. And I was like, don't even, talk to me about this. And it just is very weird. Like, people have talked about this since I was a child, and my sister-in-law was always talking about it. No offense, but there's something wrong if that's all you're thinking about is adults doing that to children. Like, we're not supposed to keep our mind on those things, because what you focus on, where energy flows, is what you're going to, you're giving energy to it. And basically, I want to talk about supply and demand. By talking about it so much, we're giving people a market. We're creating a market to traffic people. So we have to be very careful. Anyone that saw The Sound of Freedom and actually watched it, I watched it during this Christmas break and stuff. And first of all, it's weird. There's something going on with Jim Caviezel, and I don't know if it's like he's an AI now, or that's not really him, or he sold his image to a studio. But the way the movie's made is very weird. It looks very digital, right? They said they were on these locations, but it looks very weird. And the one part that everybody missed is like, he's like, we can get more of these guys, we can get them all, but we have to have a place for them to meet. And they wanted money to open a hotel so that they could get all those guys, the traffickers, in one place and get them all arrested. The problem with that is you're giving them all a place to gather. You're creating a demand, supply and demand. Anyone that knows basic economics understands this. That is why I don't talk about it a lot anymore. That is for the parents and a counselor or therapist and authorities to handle. It shouldn't be something we talk openly about where other children can possibly hear. And now even like Michael Knowles, had that one guy on, and they're basically just making people look guilty. You got to understand, a lot of these YouTubers that do some of this stuff, number one, if you look at like the travel ones, there's 2, 3, 4 guys that go to the same places, have the same titles for their videos, like they're in a niche pretty much, but they're all talking about the same thing, and they all have huge audiences, right? There's a reason for that, because they want you to think this is how this is, and this is what this looks like, and this is how that is. But unless you're in those areas, you don't specifically know yourself. So all I'm saying is be very careful with digital media at this point, because I believe I didn't think they were going to go with the alien invasion, but it looks like that might have some type of aspect to this, because again, people don't like that I don't like that topic. And I'm like, I don't know if there are or aren't. I'm not going to say what God can or cannot create. I'll just say I need to see it to believe it. In that case, right? I believe about Christ because I know that's true in my head and my heart and my spirit, right? But like as far as aliens and things, I go to scripture and, to me, they're angels, they're Elohim, they're fallen watchers, whatever you want to call them. And so, I think that that's something that's coming around. Now, I want to show you something else that's going on right now that I have done a lot of videos on and talked about ad nauseum, okay? So here we go. Now, I told you what to watch. Son of gun. I told you what to watch for, right? Now, I was talking a lot about physical traits. I was trying to build an image because, again, you'll notice in the algorithm of reality, when there's a strong spirit of something, you'll see a pattern emerge. There are a lot of YouTubers right now with red hair. Follow me. And again, I'm not being shallow here. I'm trying to make a point, and I'm showing you what is manifesting, okay? And the pattern I'm seeing and what it's looking like. I'm going to be very careful because I don't know if it's time yet. God doesn't want me revealing things until like they're supposed to be revealed. I've got to be very careful about that, especially right now, because I do have a lot of enemies. Like, people hate me, or these beings, whatever they are, they hate me. And they mock me in their videos, and I swear they put it in my phone lineup in my suggestions just to show it. And then the one guy here, he deleted the video after he put it up. Like it's just ridiculous. Somebody else did a video saying I was a reptilian. Like, come on, man. Seriously? Give me a break. Anyways, because I'm like so anti, I don't know, like I think we need to like use common sense and logic first, right? But I'm trying to get you to see a pattern here that's emerging. So if you go through YouTube right now, you'll see there's a lot of YouTubers with red hair. Some Christians, some campers, some Christian campers, some, I don't even know what you'd call them, like the bigger marketed channels, brands, with their little talent agents and all that. People, and that's disturbing too, like on social media, because I was like that. People are branding like themselves, right? And to me, it's disturbing. Like, I'm like, what is going on? Because it's gone so far that when you look at social media or you look at the screen, people are just making caricatures of themselves. Like when you would go to the mall back in the day and there would be like that person sitting there drawing. My dad used to take me downtown and I would get a caricature done, by an artist that was sitting there to do them. And that's what I mean is like an inflated head, a big ego, and basically just a caricature, a shallow caricature of themselves. And I think that's weird. Why doesn't it come back? I'm sorry, guys. Now, if you understand, like, how I'm trying to tie certain things in the background together, please feel free to give the video a thumbs up. Again, this is very surreal for me. The things I've been talking about and witnessing to for 3.5 years, and I was told to be a witness. It's just, I'm a bit overwhelmed. I'm sorry. Come here. Hold on. Come here. You want to lay down? Come here. You want to get on your pillow? Oh my gosh, Sammy's tired. Goofball. Here. Come on, Goof. Come on. Here, get on your blankie. Go ahead. Okay, I'm sorry. Again, I don't have a studio. I'm not an actress. This ain't Hollywood and I ain't Madonna, but actually I do believe Ohio kind of is Hollywood now, and Pittsburgh too. I don't know what's going on in Cali, but yeah. I honestly think there's bigger things at work, and I don't think we're getting any real news from other areas. And I think what we are seeing is very carefully packaged in the media right now. I don't think everybody, at least from like what I'm saying, okay, from my perspective, digitally and in the media, that's what I'm saying. So now, I talked about this real quick. Let me show you. Can I do this while I'm on here, or is it going to boot me? Here we go. Sammy, please stop licking mommy. You know that makes me itchy. Oh, wait. Go away. There we go. Okay. So I did a video about this. Was it live? Did I do that live? I didn't think I did. Maybe. Oh, there it is. What do King Charles and a mega church pastor have in common? And then I did, I've talked about my personal selections for our current Antichrist. That's what it looks like. Again, maybe it's the time Satan is being loosed and we're after the tribulation. I don't know. I'm being very careful in using definitives right now because, again, everything that was in my personal life has come to like this public stage, and I don't know if it was planned that way. I know what I think, okay? I don't think I'm manifesting reality or anything like that, but I know people like to hate on the messenger. And again, I'm not the only one doing this out there. There's a lot of people trying to tell you things aren't right. Something's going on. But anyway, you'll see I did that video right there, and I talked about things. So if you want to go back, that's where you go. Now, I said when the coronation was happening, they told us where Harry was going to sit. And they dropped their titles, okay? But they're still obviously family, so they're still involved. I don't think the Pope has been with us for a long time now. I think the Queen passed away before they actually told us. However, again, that's their business, right? They don't have to tell us anything. I also don't know if these people are the real royals. I told you how I feel about, like, wealthy, super uber wealthy people using proxies in the media. That's what I would do if I was that wealthy. I wouldn't want people to know my face. I would just want to be able to, like, do what I do. I wouldn't want people recognizing me everywhere I went. I know that Elon is one of those. I don't think he's an actor, whatever you want to call a proxy, whatever. Somebody else is behind the scenes saying that that's who it is. Is all this stuff going to be revealed? I don't know. But again, I think I have a really good reasons that they would do that. So I said something was going to happen. I said they specifically told us where Harry was going to sit. King Charles is, a little on in years. He's not super old or anything, You've had older kings, but he doesn't seem like, I don't know how to put this. I've read a lot about him. He doesn't seem like he's really into the job, right? The tasks or his responsibilities, And so, obviously, his son is Prince William. And I like Kate. I think their PR is great. I think they plan that out very well. I think as far as, like, how they look in the public eye, I think they have a really nice, wholesome image. But if you look at the symbols, again, and this is weird for me, again, this is surreal. My dad collected beer steins, and I kept a couple when he passed away. And one of them One of them has shields on it, and it has a tiger, a beast, or whatever, and a unicorn. Now, if you look at their coat of arms, it's they have the same things. And my family's French, and please don't hate me, but we're under the line of Merovingians, and Gévaudan means beast. It means wolfman. So on paper, symbolically speaking, I look like a real beast too. But I believe that when God saves you and you have that Holy Spirit, anything with DNA, all that stuff gets cleaned up. And so, I'm not saying to go rush out and like get a jab or anything. I'm just saying I think that God covers that to an extent. Okay. That's why I don't dwell on that stuff. But I do believe, however, what you do with your body and what you put into it, it is sin if it goes against natural law, if it goes against nature. And I personally, at this point in time, for me, where I'm at in my walk, I choose not to eat and consume death. And that's how I have to look at it. Because for me, I've done enough damage. I have to be as holy and set apart at this time as God will allow me to be. Because I pray a lot for everybody, and I want my prayers to be pure, and I want them to help, because it's one of the only ways that I can help right now. So I pray a lot for everybody, and I think that matters. But I said, Harry dumped his title, allegedly, right? But then you've got, and again, I think the Pope was gone for a long time. I think he's been gone. And they've been telling us without telling us. Like the good guys are trying to tell us things without coming right out and saying them, because something's going on behind the scenes with our government and who's in charge and all that. And it's going to become blatantly obvious very, very soon. And so I thought it was very possible that you would have like the big guy, right? And then one person in charge of each country. But I don't think there'd be votes, right? It's going to be some type of socialistic dictatorship. And they're going to say it's for our own good, that we need. And again, you can't make people give to charity, right? But it is something we should be taking care of the vulnerable in our society. And if you go to any of the homeless videos, it's so discouraging and disheartening to see how people talk. Some of those people, like, I might have to make the decision just to walk away from a roof because I need to be holier, and I can't be around some of the things that go on with my family. And I don't mean nothing super bad in front of me, but God has taken me to a place where I see things in the spirit now, and it's very difficult. And I've had to keep a wall up because of where I'm physically at, and I don't want my heart to get hurt, because that's the best part about me that God gave me was my heart, right? I think right now we need to operate from a place of love and forgiveness, but also caution. Don't jump right into anything right now. Don't make any big decisions unless, again, you feel in your gut like God, the creator, or your intuition is telling you need to move, and you need to move now, right? That's something I think, again, God does me like that because, and God asked me to be a witness and talk about these things, but there are certain things God doesn't even tell me because I'm so blatantly honest. Like when somebody asks my opinion, I don't really think. I just tell them the truth of how I feel. And that's not always good, right? So I have to be careful because there's a lot of people that dislike what I'm talking about and telling you guys, and that should show you something. Again, I deleted a channel that had over 250,000 views. It didn't matter to me. Like, that doesn't matter to me, right? I want you guys to benefit. So if we look at this, Kate is in the hospital. Now, she wants her medical history to remain private. All they said was abdominal surgery. They didn't say what happened. Now, if you'll notice, again, in this time, there's a lot of people having surgery. And I noticed that it started around the time of CV. Like, for example, the woman who took me to church suddenly had new dentures. Well, I think, was it dentures or braces? I can't remember if she had her teeth or not. Anyways, everybody around me like gets these gifts, and I don't know if it's for gaslighting me. It's just bizarre. I went to my aunt's house. She had a Beamer in the driveway, and her husband works at a factory. Like, I don't know where they got that. And people are like disappearing. And again, I don't know if it's like the plagues of Egypt, if CV really is a thing. I know that there are some strange fires burning at night that smell suspicious. I have seen dust clouds come out of the sewers here. We have some type of tunnel down by Main Street. And again, I live in a really small town. Like, it's not. But Netflix told you the devil is in Ohio. I wasn't kidding, guys, when I said this place is messed up. The dreams and the experiences, encounters all began after my son and I heard something that sounded like, I kid you not, a garbage truck in the sky. And it was like grinding, right? And I'm like, oh my God, Dean, what is that? And he looked at it, he's like, Mom. And again, this is when we were a family, everything was normal. Well, after this, nothing was normal. But we stood there for a minute, and I remember I was telling him the story about the dark wolf and the white wolf. And I talk about that a lot too. And as we're talking, we're kind of like, have the patio door open, we're just chilling in the kitchen. And we just heard this like grinding, this metal grinding sound from the sky. But it was overcast, so you couldn't see what it was, right? And that was I want to say it was spring of 2018. And that was like those experiences, dream encounters, whatever happened after that. And I believe anesthesia is being used. I believe there is no need for clones. I don't think they have to use clones because all you got to do is possess a human body. Clone to me means twin. I don't know if God would allow that with human beings, and if they are creating them, are they able to put like a demonic spirit in them, or can they transfer their consciousness? Do they not even need chips and things? Is that just to monitor us and make us attached to our body in some way? I don't know. Like, there are certain things with this that I think are just deception, right? We got to be careful with the media. What I found interesting is that she was going into the hospital, right? And you also have this happening. And here we go. There he is. You see people talking a lot right now about mental health. Almost all TIs are told they are crazy and they should get put on medication. My husband specifically asked me at one point, what are you hearing voices now? I said no, because I'm not stupid. Even if I was, I wouldn't tell him that. Like, right? Like I'm going to tell you that. Unless it's God. If it's God, like, I can't lie about that, right? If God tells me something, I got to, that's what I do. God told me to tell you guys what I see and what I hear, so I do. Anyways, you notice red hair is a big thing right now? There's a girl, a singer. Trash. Can't stand it. Actually, I think she seems really sweet when I've heard her talk, but they turn these girls out, and the young men too, and I'm very disturbed. Like, I'm just so disheartened. But her name is Ice Spice. She is light-skinned. I would say she's like a light caramel, maybe. And I think she's mulatto. I think she's mixed race. Again, I'm not judging. That's not what this is about. This is about patterns erupting in in the physical reality that we're seeing around us, so that you can catch on and say, oh, wow, I see that now. Look at all the famous redheaded people right now. And Ice Spice is a singer, and she's got both. She's got red hair, and she's kind of light-skinned. I think she's mixed. Probably very close to Meghan Markle's color. And she's got the red hair, too. She always wears the red weaves. Why? Why? And why is everybody pushing for this mental health stuff? And why do they want everybody on medication? And why do they want to take all the homeless people and just label them as mentally ill and stuff them in asylums? Are you seeing this? These comments and videos people are making? In fact, you don't believe me? Watch, I'll show you. Let's take a look. Oh, this is publicly shared. Let's change the filter. Again, some older people don't know how to do these things. So you go to the first one, relevance. Let's do upload date, so we can see all the current videos that have the word asylum in it, okay? A lot of people go into abandoned asylums talking about what used to happen in them. But if you read comment sections on the homeless channels, This is what they're telling them to do, is to reopen these and send them to these places. But what if they're not mentally unstable? What if they're just homeless? What if it's somebody like me who chooses, man, I don't want to be abused no more. I'd rather be homeless. I don't want to be around all this technology. It gives me headaches, makes me sick. But people are just labeling them as addicts. I did a video on typhoid mare. You guys need to see it. Because if you're somebody who, and again, these videos are for people who do stand in truth, for people who do speak up, for people who are seeing what's going on. And, I'm also reaching out to, I'm trying to tell people we have a common enemy. Look, Papa Meat, he's big. He's real big. And he does videos with Wendigoon, who I swear again lives in Ohio. I swear I see him walking down the street all the time, or his doppelganger. But again, I've seen some very strange things here. I've seen people who are supposed to be deceased walking around and talking, but dressing as the opposite sex. Like, I don't know, man. This is all straight up bizarre. So what they want to do is put all these people in asylums. So let's Google this. Let's do a quick search on him. Let's change the filter and see what's current. Apply. So he's going to London. There he is as a younger boy. Meghan Markle. I'm concerned about her. I don't think they did an interview with Oprah. It did not look like she was really sitting there. And then they said she was pregnant. But again, I would swear that, like, I don't know if the media's in a time loop or I'm stuck in a time loop or we're all in a time loop, but I would swear this stuff has all happened before. Like, I don't know. It's weird. So, yeah. Muck off. There we go. Okay. So, he's kind of everywhere. Let's see what he has to say about mental health. He's got some kind of podcast, I think. Ah, they're in New York talking about mental health. Did you see all the cameras they're putting in there? And again, that's what they're talking about, is reopening these places. Right there. You see her face? Deleted part about Kate Middleton, Oprah. Dude, that is not her. No way. That's not a real person. Or they have someone sitting there and they pasted her face on it, right? With a deep fake. The neck kind of looks normal. The clothes look normal. That face, dude, that's not a filter. That is not Meghan Markle sitting there. And I don't think she's, I hope she's well. I do. But I know the patterns that I see happening right now. Didn't his mother pass under suspicious circumstances? You know what that reminds me of? Oh, and there she is. Ice Spice. That's her. That's what our youngins watch. And I don't even know if she's 21. I can't. Okay? But you have, again, in this area where I live, there's a lot of couples, a lot of widows, a lot of widows. And one person, it seems, in almost every couple that has a child is on SSI, has some type of issue. And it was weird because I worked a lot and I would go to, I'd get out of work and I would get picked up by either my husband or his mom. And one of them would stay at the baseball game and I would get there halfway through the game or halfway through soccer practice, whatever, because I worked 6 to 2:30 when I was a nurse aide. And everybody knew my son. Everybody would wave to him and say his name when we went to get slushies and stuff. And I'm like, how do you know all these adults? And he would just smile. And his dad, oh, soccer or whatever. I don't know what went on. I worked a whole lot. But I know that this area, and I know that they actually call someone that's friends with my son. The story goes that his mother, before she passed of cancer, took him to a church down the road, and they called him the Antichrist. That's terrible to say to a child. I can't even. But look what that has in common with royalty. Do you know that happened in The Omen, too? Once he was done with the parents go. They're gone. Okay? But usually it's the mom. Almost always, you'll see the mother passing. Now, they're also talking about doing this. And again, the female right now, Everyone's reporting the opposite of what's actually happening, okay? The female right now is under attack. They're saying it's still the male, and it's not. It is not. If you don't notice all the mockery of women happening by men, and again, that's a pattern. You're seeing a pattern here. The red hair. What does Revelation say that the AC will be? He will have unnatural affection, right? Now they want to put comatose women as surrogates. So the woman right now is like being totally debased, right? Just get out of here, dude. I don't want to sign in. Go away. How to use brain dead women for surrogate pregnancies. February 6, 2023. And what does Revelation say? That in the end times, woe to the woman who is with child. Why? What's happening? Are they stealing the babies? For what? What are they doing with them? Adopting them? Buying them? Or is it something even more sinister? And I've went over this ad nauseum too. What does witch mean in the Bible? And it says, suffer not a witch to live. What is a witch? Do y'all know? And it's not somebody that plays with crystals. Although I don't recommend getting into tarot, it is not someone who does that stuff either, really. Go to a fairy tale. What is a witch? What do they always do? Little Red Riding Hood, Hansel and Gretel. They're always trying to eat the kids, man. Dr. Sleep, we talked about how they steal the essence, right? If somebody is in a heightened state of fear at the moment of passing, that gives off a certain thing. And this is like, it's not conspiracy theory anymore. It's real. So, again, I don't want to dwell on these things. I'm trying to show you the times we're in. This is not normal, guys. This is not normal behavior. A normal, healthy, well-balanced individual or family or community or society. You see what I did there? I rippled out. Because every individual affects that society and those around them. We've got some really depraved people out there. People have gone straight reprobate. And I used to be upset about the 144,000. And I still don't know if I agree with how that's working or operating, but it doesn't seem so unreasonable now looking at things. I don't know what we're dealing with. I don't know if the spirit in people is gone. And I mean, some of the children are straight up wicked. If you see some of the videos they're uploading, they're straight up wicked. And people that I used to work with that, yeah, were a little raunchy maybe, they used to be pretty cool. I can't even go on Facebook anymore and scroll because they're posting nothing but basically porn. And then other people have pictures of baby. They have a picture of baby in a snapshot, and the baby has money around it. What is going on, man? Seriously, somebody please tell me. I can't, how are we good with all this? How are we still, I feel bad even being a part of it. I literally want to go to the woods. I'm not even kidding. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to give any of my energy to any of this anymore. And I don't mean you guys, right? I don't really want to be online. I don't really want to do that whole thing anymore. I don't like how the machine and the beast is messing with me. However, I do believe, and you guys are probably going to be shocked that I say this, I believe a part of AI, again, all this technological stuff, there's nothing new under the sun. It all came from God. Our understandings of what angels look like and things like that probably needs to be altered a little bit. But that doesn't negate the fact that I do believe they're real, and we're dealing with things here on a massive scale. It's not just one or two people. We've got a depraved society happening here. How could they even think that this would be okay? How? I don't understand, man. And this person openly talked about stuff with children in his old videos. And now, and he's in the club, way deep in the club. He's been on YouTube since the beginning. So he's a YouTube studio brat. And they bought a baby. Now, everybody's in the comment section saying, where's the mother? Where's the mother? Well, she was a surrogate, so they bought it. But now my question is, after seeing look, dude, you didn't give birth. What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, why? And they're nothing but giant teenagers. Why do you have babies, man? Because when you adopt, you're vetted. They carefully select. That's why adoption's so difficult. But they just went and bought a couple babies, man, like they were Pradas. Like they were a purse or a pair of shoes. And they've got two. That really is two babies. Shut up, man. So they're accessories. It's like their little dog. They're going to put them in purses? Like, dude, what is going on? Are you guys here still? I'm shocked, man. No, that's not true. I would say I can't believe it, but I can believe it. I've been talking about this for years. I told you guys all this stuff was coming. And I didn't tell you. God, imparted it upon a lot of us. So if they do this alien thing, please remember, anything that does something against your will or is sneaky about gaining consent, that is not a good thing for you or your life. If you remember nothing from what I'm trying to tell you about consent, remember that. And you just say no. The name of Jesus will deliver you, but you can also say, before you sleep every night, I do not consent to being interfered with. Or however you want to phrase it. I do not consent to night terrors. I do not consent to sleep paralysis. I do not consent to demonic attachments. Because that's another part of this too. I believe, and I know how this is going to sound. You don't got to tell me. But again, I've been laying out here making a picture, and each video has led to the next one. There's a reason I'm doing things this way. We're building up to something here because the eclipse is coming. And again, I try not to use definitives, but I've known for a long time. Okay, so the Bible says that it's appointed to every man to die once. I've died a couple of times. I know, not everybody believes that, but from my perspective, that's what happened. I've died a few times. I don't really like it. I don't want to do it again. I don't really like leaving my body like that. This is why I say we need to be prepared. I don't believe death is forever. I believe it's mostly an illusion, shadow of death. Satan is the bringer of death, and God's going to throw them both into the lake of fire. But it also says that some won't even taste death in the end times, that they will be changed in the twinkling of an eye. But I've known for a long time that I was going to have to stand up for faith and that I might end up dying for that. It's just something I've always known. And I don't, again, it's not me saying, oh, this is me and I'm a big deal. Trust me, you don't want to be in my position. Dude, I've dealt with so much mockery, so much deception. I still don't understand exactly what's happening. I feel like I'm watched all the time. I'm constantly in prayer and I barely eat anymore. And now I've stopped eating animals, and now I'm on the lowest dose of the fibro medication that I've been on since I got on it. And it's hard. My knees are so swollen and my ear is killing me. And I get headaches all the time, like there's a band around my head. And it's funny because they say people can have a spiritual stigmata. And that's almost what it feels like. Like there's a crown or something like a vice around my head, right? And I asked for union with God, and it makes me appreciate Jesus all the more. Like, people focus on his resurrection or the salvation he brings us or his blood. Not that those all aren't part of it. But our Maker, the triune God, came down in part in flesh and has done everything we're going through. Was born as a child, had to learn how to walk, had to learn how to talk, right? Still part human. The Son still praying to the Father in heaven. but also divine and holy in his own right. Down here walking amongst us, showing us how to do this, how to get out of the matrix, how to exit, right? Or how to ascend, because again, I believe our relatives are all still here. We just can't see them. I believe demons are very, how do I say this? I think they're just invisible to us, but I think they're very physical. They're not made of the same stuff, right? But if the veil lifts, these things will be able to physically interact with us. And I think what's happening has a lot to do with the screens. And I've talked about this ad nauseum too, the plasma and the black screens and the obsidian and the portals and all this stuff, right? Now, I'm going to have to point to a series about the Slender Man, and I don't want to tell you the channel name because I don't want you going watching it. But there's something going on with YouTube too. I've been really analyzing what I'm seeing. And now I'm talking about, like, if you go back to like 2012 and punch in blogs, right? I don't even know how to, what was it? What did I find it under? I'm going to have to show you, and I really don't want to. Don't go watch it. Like, don't. Because I'm going to tell you why in a minute. What is it called? No. Get out of there. Come on. There's a specific channel I'm... And I have to use examples because, again, these are very hard concepts to put out there. Now, there's a specific channel that did a story about this individual years ago, okay? And we all know what, most of us know what happened. I talked about this a few videos ago. Whoops, my bad. I talked about this a while back. Okay, Marble Hornets was the first one. It was the first series about this dude, okay? If you watch Marble Hornet, now this, it gets very weird. I binge on things, right? So I watched that, and then I watched, where's the EHM, guys? There it is. So this is in the beginning, and I don't know how to say these things. This is so hard to explain. If you watch any of this, okay? There's the kid. His name's Evan. Now, they say he's acting, but the channel started out very normal. Then his friend puts hidden cameras everywhere, and they don't know it, right? Now, they say it's all an act. They say it's a script, and they say they're acting it out. I would disagree. I would strongly disagree. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute, and you're not going to understand it, and you're going to be like, what are you talking about? Again, if you don't understand, you're just not at that point yet. So this is it, but you have to go to videos and go to oldest and watch them in order, okay? Whatever the spirit is of that young man that... Now, they say he's acting. Again, I totally disagree, and I'm going to tell you what I think's going on. You're not going to believe me, but that's okay. Because if you watch it, you'll find out. You don't have to watch it, though. I don't want you to watch it. But I'm trying to explain what I think is happening. So he puts hidden cameras in, right? And this kid, Evan, he's already into dreams. He's already having lucid dreams. They're already, like, really into health. That's what the channel is supposed to be about, is like a healthy lifestyle. And then they get into dreams and stalking. And then videos start showing up that they say they didn't post, okay? Now, they're very serious through most of it. What needs to be looked at, though, are the comments. Now, this whole scenario is very familiar to me. Why? Because it reminds me a lot of targeted individuals. Everything that they do that then attracts this slender man, again, another boogeyman in a suit with a white face, just like a Men in Black, just like the Mormon missionaries, just like, who's the other? The FBI, always with the black hat, right? The bowler hats and the suits, okay? I watched that very close. I watched that series. Whatever spirit gets into this young man, because here he is, once he's, quote-unquote, possessed by this demon, I know that spirit. And I told you at the beginning of this video, for whatever reason, I'm able to recognize when I'm dealing with something I've already seen before, but it's showing up different. God, I don't know how to explain. I don't know if it's shapeshifters. I don't know if it's movie tricks and they have like lifelike masks or what's going on. But I know when I'm dealing with a specific like spirit, and I can't explain it any different way. You all have gifts, you know, you have your own thing that works for you. I recognize the spirit of a person. I can't always remember people's names. I'm terrible with names, but I never forget a face. And when you're a people watcher, when you just watch people, you start to get accustomed to mannerisms and certain body things. Whatever spirit is in that young man towards the end of this, I recognize. Like, I actually, and actors will tell you, even if he is acting, these things, you end up bringing life to them, right? And it ends up affecting them, just like Heath Ledger with the Joker. Now, I'm not going to tell you how it ends because it's a cool story. I won't lie. Like, it's a very cool story. But in this video right there, the day the world ended, nobody gets it. Nobody else saw it, and I don't know why I did. But they're in a house that's always changing. It's always different. There's hallways and rooms that go to other houses in other cities and states, but they're located in New Jersey. That's actually a little part of my testament too, but I never talk about that. And one of the rooms that the guy goes into, the other guy, Vinny, the bald one there, they started out as best friends. That's not how it is now. He's possessed by this demon that Vinny encouraged him to possess himself with, basically. Where am I going with all this? I think by putting these things out there on the screen and talking about them, it's almost making it worse what we're seeing manifest in our world physically. Like the people who seem to be different, people who seem to be like scripted, right? They're acting like NPCs, background characters, whatever you want to call it, possessed, I don't know, but they're different, right? I think this stuff is coming, this energy. This is why we're supposed to keep our mind on heavenly things. I think we are making this easier for these things to interact with us. Let me say it that way. Now, they give out a secret in the day the world ended. He opens one of the doors and he doesn't know what the sound is, and it scares him. And he shuts the door and he says, "What's that?" And he opens it again. And I'll tell you exactly what it is. Those kids might not have recognized it, but it's a dial-up internet sound. And then if you watch some of these, you can tell that some of the tape has like bled onto other tapes, right? Like you have, basically if you have a cassette tape and you delete it, you erase it and you record over it, like you can do that, but you'll sometimes have gaps and bleed through of what was first recorded. That's what starts happening here. And they talk about different incarnations or iterations, but the same thing happened in Marble Hornets. Another series about this same beast, the Man in Black. And I'm going to get to something in a minute. These guys were the first. They did this whole thing first, okay? 5.8 million views. Now imagine how many young minds, and young minds who are prepubescent, are more likely to have outbursts that can cause poltergeist-like activity. I had that stuff happen around me. Growing up in an abusive household, you don't have a way to lash out, and sometimes that energy will display itself outwardly, okay? But what I find interesting is that in this one, the same thing happens. The kid tries to stop it right there, entry 21. He tries to stop it, right? And this is what I'm getting into with analog and digital. He burns all the copies of the tapes. And nobody can figure out why they have memory loss, why they don't remember what's happening, why they feel like they're repeating the same day. And nobody's talking about that part. It's like I'm the only one that sees it. Dude, because when you burnt the tapes and melt them together, you hurt the people. Now, how's that possible? What do I think's going on? Well, first of all, I think, and you're not going to believe me, but it's fine. I've talked about this ad nauseum too. I think things are being sacrificed still to things in the woods. And I think some of this is being broadcast. This is how they're telling each other, hey, I did mine. And again, serial killers back in the day, they would write to the cops and brag about their escapades and the things they'd done. I think people now, instead of writing the cops, they're getting bolder and they're putting it on video. Why do I think this? Because again, just like with the Bible and the things Christ said, what he doesn't say is oftentimes more important. What they don't say about what he's doing or paying attention to his mannerisms is more important sometimes than what's actually being said. You have to learn how to read subtext. And I personally, they never mention it, right? They don't talk about it. It's like, it's not part of the quote unquote script that he wrote the story. I don't think he wrote this. I don't think it's a story. And again, I don't know how, there's something going on as to where I think people are being recorded and they don't know it. And I think they're purposely having these demons attached to them. And I've had that theory for a long time. I told you, I thought that if they can't use you, right, and if you're not on their team, well, they're going to get out of you whatever you can, because basically you're just a resource to them. Your loosh, your energy, your essence, whatever it is you can do, whether it's money, whether it's creative, writing. They love people that are creative and write and sing and all that stuff. Performers, they're going to get whatever they can out of you. Even if they end you, then it's about life insurance so that they can live and do the game behind the scenes that nobody else sees. If you've not seen Walking Chaos or Chaos Walking or Hello Darling, especially if you're a female, you need to see those, because I feel like, and no offense, men, I don't think it's everybody, but I feel like a lot of men in these clubs who took oaths are getting things attached to their families. And I think that these people know what they're doing when they put it on video, and then they panic and they try to burn it, not realizing what they're actually doing. I don't think we're in a simulation, but it's very possible our world is a computer. I know. I know how that sounds. I know that sounds weird. And again, it's an analogy. It might not be an actual computer, but if you look at the way the world operates, the subtext of things, I mean, it's almost unavoidable. I posted a picture on the community tab. You guys should have saw it. Get out of there. Where is it? I know I post a lot of shares. I'm sorry. The moment you realize you're just a piece of data carrying information as you move through a circuit system that has been designed to siphon your spiritual energy. One of these is the inside of a computer. The other one is an actual city. Okay? This is a city. That's a motherboard on the left. The blue is the motherboard. The gold is an actual cityscape. We are in our home is a computer. Sort of. If that makes sense. Wow, doesn't it? But again, you almost can't deny it. I don't think it's fake. And I do think the decisions that we make here matter. So now I want to show you that girl real quick. Red hair. Okay. And there are a lot of people right now with perversions. And I think personally, I don't even know, what is it, Spencer? I don't know his last name. Diana was a Spencer. Somehow, I don't know how, he's going to end up in charge of something. I do not trust the dude. But maybe he doesn't know yet. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know, man. Something's up. And again, you're seeing these patterns play out all over the place. I hope that Megan is well, but I didn't like the way her last few appearances look. And I noticed in all the media, they're using a lot of old images of people. And I want you to see this too, because this is relevant. All these things that are happening at the same time, guys. Watch how many people are leaving. Check this out. People that have been on for years. And I get it, people retire. But look how many. I got a picture of the sun that I edited, contrast exposed, a brightness, etc. Machine or... I'm sorry, I can't do nothing but laugh about it now. I was kind of in shock for a few days. Like, I didn't even want to talk to anybody because I noticed if like the number stations thing. You guys saw that. I was talking about number stations and then the Wi-Fi's, which I love that channel, so I'm not even going to say nothing. But then he does the number stations video. Dude, this is not coincidence anymore. This keeps happening to me. Seriously, guys, am I Truman? Is somebody watching me on a giant screen somewhere? It's creepy. So pretty much, there's a lot of people who are checking out of YouTube. They've been here for years. That one has no views. I guess they don't care. He's leaving. Let's change it back to relevant because I want it to say that. Okay, there you go. After 10 years, it's time to stop weekly videos. This guy's leaving. Which, honestly, I don't know. He kind of disturbs me, so whatever. He just doesn't seem normal. Is Mr. Beast actually quitting YouTube? Is he really? I'm going to have to look that up. Mr. Beast, he's got strange teeth. I don't think they're his. You'll notice that a lot, too. If somebody's playing more than one character, you can just change, like, your teeth, like, whatever, you know what I mean? And your mouth will look a little different, and you almost look like a totally different person if you have a mouthpiece in and then you put, like, glasses or something on. Or change your hair color. But, yeah, so a lot of people are leaving. And, why so many YouTubers are quitting? I think it's because YouTube is turning into basically like a cable network. It's turning into mainstream. Everybody liked it because it was alternative. And everything's really censored at this point. So, yeah. I think that has something to do with it. But again, you'll also notice that a lot of people have left the spotlight, right? Madonna looks very weird. Every time you see her, she looks different, right? I showed you Ashley Judd. She's got something going on with her face, very similar to Madonna with the puffiness. Plastic surgery. Okay, that's fine. Why are all their faces changing at the same time? Something's not right at all. So yeah, I think some people know what's coming. If they're in the club, they know a part of what's coming as much as they need to know for their level or whatever. But I think he is one to watch at this point. I do not trust him. I don't like fake, phony, nice people. I would rather, like, and I know that I'm not likable. Like, I know this. And I know I'm not lovable. Like, I just know this. Only God loves me. So I know that sometimes the things I say come out wrong. They're a little too blunt. I know I can rub people the wrong way. But I'm just honest. Like, I just have to speak truth. I've just always been that way. And I don't mean to be hurtful, right? But I'd rather somebody be real with me than have some phony person feeding me some line of BS. And again, I think it's very possible that they're proxies. If not, they have a lot of proxies out here in this world. If you don't know what proxy means, it's basically a substitute. Because again, you've got that hive mind legion thing happening. Just like the guy down the road. I told you guys at the end of the garage sale season last year. The older man from the homeowners association was talking to me and getting nice and being nice. And he asked me where I was originally from. And I said Pittsburgh. And he goes, "Oh, you mean Pittsburgh back in the States?" And I said, "Excuse me?" And he says, "Yeah, in the States? I'm in Ohio, right? Aren't I in Ohio still?" Dude, I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know what's wrong with people. I really don't know what's happening. It's so bizarre. So I wanted to also touch base real quick on... I talked about that. Coronation. High strangeness. Did I touch on? Yes, I talked. Oh, there's also... And I just, again, when something is highlighted to me in the spirit, I talk about it. Now, this is weird, okay? Because the kid that is friends with my son that they referred to as the AC... Oh, I'm just joking, Mom. Like, when they realized, like, I'm I don't want to say I was going to fight back, but that I wasn't a pushover. Like, I wasn't just going to allow them to commit me and put me on meds or whatever they thought they were going to do. That I wasn't down with any of that. When I said I was not consenting to nothing like that, when I started to catch on, what was going on around me, that's when things started to change a little bit for me. And that's why I tell you, do declarations daily of what you consent to and don't consent to, right? Now, we have a lot of this happening. And what's weird, again, is like everyone I've talked to in the last few years in town or local has a story about cancer. And then the one lady, and I won't get it again, all these people know each other. It's a very small town and it's all interwoven. Swinging is a thing here. I'm not involved in that, but I know it's a thing. So yeah. Again, small, beautiful town. Doesn't look like it'd be that way. I didn't know that, or I would not have moved here and raised kids here. Like, at all. I thought the country was better for children. Come to find out, I should have took my kids and made a life with my dad. Anyways, there's a lot of this, and I don't understand it. And a lot of people going to jail. Like, going to jail at this point is like a rite of passage for most people if they get right out or whatever. I don't know. It's like a humiliation ritual thing. It's like everyone's doing it. And again, I'm seeing these patterns play out physically. And that's why. But what is about this? There's something going on here, okay? The reason I don't like the C thing is because I've dealt with it a lot. I don't like it because when they go in to do work on you, suddenly they say you have all this stuff. Okay, do you know you have that stuff? How do you know that's not just a blur on a photograph? I think in some cases we are straight up experiments. Literally. And I think they're throwing people under the bus because it's very possible, that they're diagnosed that way. Why are they, barking up this tree? They should be at the doctor's. Why did you diagnose this person with that? Okay. Now, again, there's a lot of people that has been doing this, like, recently. And I don't know what the deal is. Iowa woman who made famous on social media must pay restitution. Death stunt, how international media covered it. I don't even want to know. And that's weird too. And I think I might end this there. That's a nice segue into a few topics we're going to be talking about. So what do I think is going on? I think a lot of people need deliverance. I think we have a debaucherous society, and that we've brought a lot of this on ourselves by staring at our phones and looking at social media and not spending time with our families like we should be. And again, I'm not blaming anybody. Like, these are things that I did too. That's why I'm talking about them, because I know about them. And I'm trying to warn people that these aren't good things. Even the people who created social media aren't on there. Like, they know what it is. They know about the dopamine hits. They know how it causes addiction. They know how it warps your view of reality. They know the media does this. It's called propaganda, man. You need to learn about World War II and how that was actually fought. Because, again, there's deception happening all over the place. I'm wondering if the big C is even a thing at this point. I do think that you can get it from eating red meat. It's actually on the CDC website, which I will leave a link for, as I've done numerous times, because I'm a big proponent of putting good things in your body. And I know that alkaline water, for example, having a proper pH balance in your system, makes your temple inhospitable to the mutation of cells, mutated cells. And that's basically what the big C is. Again, I'm not a doctor. This isn't medical advice. This is things that I've learned from doing my due diligence and researching. But you got a lot of people who are faking this crap. Like, a lot. Not just that one girl. Like, there's more than this. Okay? Ordered to pay $40,000 to strangers she deceived. Good. I mean, she should have to. But again, I think there's a deception here. I don't know if guilty people even go to jail anymore. I think there's a lot of persecution happening. I think there's a lot of lying happening. I think if you go to Tubi and do like I did and just let, like, Dateline play for a couple a days in the background when you're free, like a couple of episodes, you'll see how it's like scripted. They just use different people. Something is happening. I do believe death to be an illusion. There are too many things pointing to high strangeness and a deception in that area. And the same for planes. There's something up with that. I don't know what it is. I don't know if we've run out of gas. I don't know why they're not flying them as much. But I know that there's a big deception with some of this stuff that's going on. And most people, and here's the thing, what do they say to you? Can't wake a sleepwalker, right? Why? Because if you wake a sleepwalker, you can shock them. They could get violent and hurt themselves or hurt you. So you have to guide them gently and wait for them to wake up on their own. It's the same way waking somebody who's sleepwalking through life. Trust me, I know. I'm very blessed. This is going to sound weird. I'm very blessed that I grew up in such a crappy situation because it made my mind very strong. And it takes a lot to break me. I'm not going to lie. My heart is in pieces. I had a birthday and it went unrecognized again. And my husband, he used to be the best about, like, he could rap better than me. He would put tie bows on everything. Our first Christmas together, I was like, oh my gosh, did you pay to have this stuff wrapped? He's just that good at that. And so he would always do that part. And when I was the one working, he made me roses out of tissue paper. Like, he never does. Like, it's like dealing with two different people, right? When there's something else, like something other that interferes. And I don't know what happened. I know he got in a car accident when we were separated that he walked away from, and he shouldn't have. I guess the car was totaled. And something changed after that. And I don't know if that's the case for everybody. I think there's a clue in The Walking Dead, though, when they said it was already inside of people. I think something's going on with these abductions. I think something's being put into maybe our people's subconscious, or maybe I want to be respectful because these are our loved ones, some of them. If you know anyone like this who behaves like an NPC, I think that was the whole point of alien abductions, is like to put something inside a person so that you could control their behavior at a specific appointed time. And I think that time is coming. That's why we're seeing people behave in, with single-mindedness and in synchronicity in like a hive mind. Now, those of us with the Holy Spirit are the same way. You'll see us talk about the same things sometimes, but in our own words. We're not like robots, right? So again, man, this is all so surreal, guys, and I don't know how much longer like this little channel ministry is going to last. I don't know if I'm going to have to pass again. But it's weird because I asked God, nobody's seen a resurrection in forever, if we could just see them. And I've told people, don't bury me, man. I don't want to be put in the dirt. Just leave my body lay. I don't care. Something will happen, right? And I ask God, resurrect it. And if God don't resurrect my body, then the animals can do whatever they do with it. But I think our body is part of it. And I asked for these things, and then I read the book of Revelation and what it said about the two witnesses. And I'm kind of crushed because I'm like, this is stuff that's God's saying to me. And then I have other people saying, well, it's just the people around you manipulating you. It's just the V2K. Man, that's all a deception. It's God. God is working on people right now. Now, is technology involved in some ways? Absolutely. Absolutely. But not in that way, right? Not in that way. I don't know, man. I just wanted to catch up with you guys because the eclipse is coming, and we're going to talk about that. And we just started the lunar year of the dragon, according to Chinese, however they do their lunar New Year's and stuff. And those animals have been a big part of all this too. It started with the bat. Then you had the rats in New York City, and everybody was talking about rats. I went to get my taxes done. Allegedly, there was a rat in a baby carriage. Again, this is gaslighting. I know that, or whatever. But the way they talk, like, why would you even say that? Like, is that just to,
Like, what is that supposed to do? I don't know. Anyways, the bats were a thing, the rats were a thing, the bull was a thing, and now we're getting into the year of the dragon, right? So we've got all this stuff happening, and you had the alignment. Everybody's talking about that again too. That alignment happened in 2018 in September, or was it 2017? I don't know why people are talking about the Great Conjunction. Maybe there's another one with this next eclipse. But here's how I look at the eclipses, guys. Things kind of started changing with the first one. And I feel like our time in between the eclipses has been our time to repent and know God and heed his call and his warnings. I think this next eclipse is a marker, guys. Another marker. Something's going to happen. Again, I don't want to bring bad things on people. That's not what this is about. But God does warn his people before something happens. If you've not seen my videos about my dreams and the earthquake and the floods, you might want to check that out. I'm not going to get into it now. So yeah, we're in some strange times, and I want to talk about the eclipse that's coming. And I do believe it's a marker, just like you had with the last conjunction. But I'm fuzzy on the tribulation period because there's a lot of pastors out there that teach it's 7 years, and that's because one person witnesses for 2,000 some days, and it adds up to being 3.5 years. So I think you have one witness for the first 3.5, then a second one for the last 3.5, maybe? Or you have pre-tribulation, somebody's prophesying, and then you have the first half of the tribulation, that person is prophesying about the second half. Does that make sense? I hope I said that right. And again, the whole point of all this too is to be like, man, I didn't start like this. I wasn't like a religious zealot or anything like that at all, like at all. I was raised in CCD and all that in a Catholic church, and I did my sacraments. I love God. But for a long time, I was really into like, what could I do for me? What kind of extra abilities could I have? All that type of stuff. Or, meditation and just, weird stuff. Making it up as I went and just trying to find God. I mean, at least I was searching, I guess. But remember, people also ask, well, what if somebody doesn't know about Jesus? Are you kidding me? This is God's creation. If he wants you to know about Jesus, you're going to learn about Jesus, even if you're in a forest or Timbuktu or the Amazon all by yourself with nothing but you and a monkey and a bottle of water. Like, God's going to find you, right? Like, you can't hide from God. Adam and Eve tried that. Didn't work out. Just saying. Oh, so was there anything else I wanted to cover before the eclipse came? I had some other weird things happen, like, that led up to all this, that just now, like, I'm looking back and I'm like, wow, that happened? That happened? You know what I mean? And it's hard to talk about these things because, again, they're so close to me. And I don't know if I talked about that part, but my son's friend, the one that they joke around, that was the AC, the one whose mother passed. Again, we've got a lot of that around here. A lot of moms gone from this whole group of people. Sometimes the dad, but usually it's the mom. I don't even know what to say anymore. So the house he lives in is 200, right? But then I looked on Google Maps because I can't find 222. And 222 is big around here. And I'll get into why in a minute. A coffee shop down the road opened on 2/22/22. Okay. I just noticed the sign today. That's the only coffee shop we have. The town is that small. And so I looked on Google Maps to find out where 222 was. Well, here, my son's friend, that house is registered with 2 addresses. 200 or 202 and then 222. When I was cashiering, this last little job I had, when they were gaslighting me there with the numbers and saying the drawer was short $9, then it was short $11, and no, you can't count it by hand. Well, obviously the scale needs calibrated. It just gave you 2 different numbers. No, I'm not signing. I'm not signing your write-up either, because you didn't let me count the money with my 2 hands. That's how bad this is. Like people, the machine is right, and if it's not right, well, it's still right. Even if it's broken, the machine is correct. Like, I cannot operate this way. I don't know what's going on. Going back into work was weird enough, but then you had stuff like that going on. Anyway, so you'd get a number on the register. There's only 3 registers, and it would be 20, 21, and 22, depending on what shift you worked, right? Well, I was leaving the one day, and they're weird, right? It's just weird. Adults don't act like this. But this one older woman, she's strange. I told you we had a whole altercation with the mask thing. And I knew I shouldn't have took her job from her to begin with. I don't know why I did. I shouldn't have, because God didn't tell me to. And actually, God told me not to, and I didn't listen. And I should have listened. This is what happens when you disobey bad things. You got consequences to deal with. So then I'm leaving the one day. I'm taking my drawer out, and they're like, oh, you can be 22 to the next girl. Oh, we love 22 here. And I'm like, yeah, is that some lucky number or something? Mind you, I know a bit about gematria, so I'm not saying nothing. Oh, yeah, we love 222 here. That's an antichrist number. You'll notice that certain people, certain individuals have numbers attached to them. The original spirit of the man that I married, his was 714. He didn't just like that number. It kind of followed him. Okay? Very weird. Why don't you go? Why is this live? It's a summary of a whole bunch of things. Okay? If you don't want to be here, nobody's holding a gun to your head, you're free to go. This is just me talking, catching up with everybody after Christmas, kind of summarizing where we're at in current events and in the spirit. Giving number to people like the Germans. No, it was, that's what you do when you sign into a shift on the register. And it was weird because, again, I'm dealing with grown adults. And, oh, we love 222, da-da-da-da-da, 222, 222. Where are we with current events? Well, we're with a change. A change is going to come. My bad, I'm yapping. Don't worry about it. You can yap as much as you want. If you missed some of the video, though, you will be lost because I'm weird like that. What change? Well, looks like King Charles's reign is going to be very short. I don't wish the worst on anybody, right? I told you my thoughts on death. I'm not scared of it. I think it's illusion. I'm more scared of, like, God judging me, that whole bit. However, not everybody. Some people are worried about death. Some people are scared to death of death, right? I don't wish anything bad on the king. I don't know him personally. I know what people say. Again, I don't try to judge. Say yeehaw? No, I don't say that. No, hold on. There's, again, if you miss I'm very weird in how I explain things. So if you missed some, you're not going to understand what I'm talking about here. I think he's going to be either in charge of America or maybe the whole deal. Is this one going to be involved? I don't know, but it's unfortunate that Kate's in the hospital at the same time as King Charles. I think that is I don't like that. I don't think it's a coincidence. And it's also not a coincidence that their mother is gone. And I told you, these people that have the Antichrist spirit, they have a pattern in their lives that shows up. Please, I am asking everyone. Okay, anyways. So, I think these are things to watch for. And I've been talking about this for a long, 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 long time. I'm like an Elon. He's up there too, although he comes across as a decent guy. There's something obviously not going on there that's not right. Do you see how much I'm getting spammed now, guys? Yeah, there's a reason for that. This is why I'm very careful about the words I choose too. I don't say definitely, but God has been leading me in a certain direction for a while now. And it actually has a lot to do with my own roots, but I'm not getting into that. Can I just equals a Kodesh? Yeah. That's my whole point, is I believe we're in the time of tribulation. I believe we're going to have a new world leader with, I don't know, lieutenants or whatever, in, one per country. And I think the whole reason they're doing this thing about defunding the cops is because they want to bring UN soldiers and they want them on the streets. And I think that's what they're trying to do is, again, the Hegelian dialect. They're making the problem, right, with homeless people and mental illness and the police and how the police are brutal and all the things that they've done wrong and defund the police. Well, they're going to do that. They're going to do what everybody's asking for, but then you're going to have a vacuum, right? What are you going to fill that power vacuum with? Well, they already know. They're not going to ask us what we want to fill it with. They're going to change the system, and they're going to bring in UN soldiers. I've been talking about this for years now. Years. Literal years. And again, I don't think that interview with her and Oprah, I do not think that was her at all. And I'm concerned for women at this point because they're literally trying to get rid of us. And it's not being reported on. The abuse that a lot of us are enduring is not being reported on. We're not being helped. These facilities that are supposed to be helping aren't helping, right? So, cry about it. God, I love getting trolled, guys. That means I'm doing something right. You guys rock. Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it. Rock on. Or you can go pound sand or kick rocks. I don't care. Either way. But yeah, this is something to watch for. I'm not digging. I don't know why he dropped his title other than, do you see him entering the 2024 race? Like the presidential race? Because he doesn't have a royal title now. I mean, technically he could if he wanted to. Right? I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm going to bounce because it's getting late, but let's chat about it in the comments. I don't even know if I'll leave this video up because, again, it was just catching up because I'm going to a place. When we talk about the next eclipse, all this stuff gets in there. Nope, he controls, I don't know, what does that say? He controls the what? Who controls the gold? The royal family? Yeah, I know. Yep. Most of us know about the Fed, I think, at this point. Most of us are pretty aware on those things, huh? And again, they've never affected me. Who's led the country has never affected me. I've always led the same type of life. It doesn't have nothing to do with me. I think politics are fake. It's all put on. I don't think we actually elect anybody, but I think it does seem to be we are in a tribulation period, and we get the leaders we deserve. And America, people in other countries do not like us. They think we're entitled snobs, and they think that we're pigs. And with shows like Jersey Shore saying that's our reality, can you really blame them for thinking that, So yeah, we got to take accountability too. It's a good versus evil battle. Absolutely. I think we're in the time of the tribulation. People disagree with me, and that's fine. I don't mind. But that's, right now, that's where I'm sticking. And this guy is high up on my list for the role of the Antichrist. Because he fits. Everything fits. He doesn't have a mom. Yeah, signs everywhere. Go through YouTube. See all the YouTubers that have red hair now, that are big, have big channels. And again, I'm not saying that's to be superficial. I'm saying these things manifest, right? If the AC is going to be in control pretty much of the earth for a time, doesn't it state to reason then that his people would have his traits or the hive mind? Do you know what I'm saying here? Does that make sense? God, this is so hard to explain. Patterns, like an algorithm in a computer, but in your everyday life. Okay? So I think he's definitely one to watch, which is funny because he's always had a decent attitude, but allegedly these people have some strange proclivities as well and unnatural affections, especially that one. Because I don't know how to say this and be kind about it, so I'm just not going to say it. But I don't think this person's significant other is who they say it is. The AC will come from what? No, he won't. No, he won't. It doesn't say that anywhere in scripture. Doesn't say that. It doesn't say he'll be a Jew. It doesn't say any of those things. It says he will have an unnatural affection. And right now, I think if he's religious at all, he's going to be ecumenical. He's going to want to bring the churches together. Islam, Catholicism, all that stuff. Oh yeah, he'll obviously be charismatic. People will love him. Trump is on my list too. I mean, I hate to say, honestly, I think he's more of an actor. I think all these people are proxies. I think they're all actors. I don't think anybody on the screen is the actual person. And again, I don't know if that makes sense. But I did a video on it, so you guys can go check that out if you want. It's the Elon Musk video I think I used as an example. But I think there's going to be like, what do we got? The son of perdition and the AC. Is that the same person? And then the beast. And then he hands the power over to the beast. I personally think one of the beasts is AI. But I know there's a beast that comes from the sea too. And I also know that the UFOs that are stuck here, those are in bodies of water and the sand, I believe too. It's someone that strongly rejects Christ and is anti. Yeah, but he's not gonna come off like that, right? I don't think, because I think when persecution is here, they're not persecuting you they're specifically avoiding that topic. They're not saying persecuting you for your religion. They're saying it's for other things. Like with the gang stalking, they're saying it's for something else. But they're never gonna say, just like they didn't in the beginning. They had to write the stories about the apostles because, they were falsely accused. Well, what were they accused of? The devil was not the devil. No. No. No, the devil and AI, the devil and the beast are not the same thing. Satan, the devil, I hate that term. It's generic. Lucifer, right? The fallen one. Him. Actually, he will be loved by many. Yeah, he will be loved by many. There's a lot of people out there that love Trump that I never thought he would, you know what I mean? But then if you look back, guys, they've told us all along, every president we had has been an actor, almost. Ronald Reagan was a straight-up actor. Trump has his own reality show. They're telling us, it doesn't even matter. Those people we see on the screen, I don't think they're the real people. I think they're all proxy people. I think the actual wealthy person sits in their safe little haven, wherever that's at. Lucifer's AI, should I fear it? I don't think, no, not Lucifer either. The beast. The beast is not Lucifer. I don't think. It takes place in Israel in the end. I've read scripture. Yep. I don't want to talk about it. It's fine if you disagree. I have a theory and I'm sticking with it. If you want to see it, it should be is it under the live streams? Anyway, where I talk about how I believe the countries have been renamed and they talk about, America isn't in the Bible. That's because they renamed it. There's nothing new under the sun. All of this has always been here. Now, it might have gotten separated and stuff, sure, during the earthquakes and the flood, but it's all been here. There's nothing new in that way, right? It wasn't called America back then. In case you haven't looked around, America is Babylon. We are Babylon, guys. Please look around. America is Babylon. Why do you think we see all these wars everywhere else, but in our time, we've never seen anything on our soil? Why do you think God has blessed us like that? Look at the word Jerusalem. USA is inside of Jerusalem. Israel. I think America has either the Israelites in it or we are Israel. Yes, I'm talking about scripture, though, what scripture says specifically. And I know not everybody's interested in that, but that's what I'm referring to right now. Okay? That's where I got that from. And that's how I make that relation. Why do the comments disappear? Because then I forget when I'm trying to reply to. Okay, so yes, I'm not disagreeing. People hate America, and they have good reason to be upset with our leaders, but that's not us. I don't consent to any of these wars. Nobody asks me. I don't get a vote. And I think the Ukraine thing, they tell you on the television, it's a proxy war. Proxy. Proxy means fake. Proxy means stand in. When are people actually going to listen to what's said on the television? It's fake. It tells you. Proxy war. It's not real. Hello? And where did I'll ask again and nobody ever answers me. If you watch any of these speeches now that we have to hear from the White House every afternoon for whatever reason, got to get our indoctrination in, right? Why do they say bad actors? Bad actors. What does that even mean in politics? Man, I agree with you. You're preaching to the choir here. I love my country, but I love all countries. Yeah, I don't watch it either. I'm just saying, like, this is what's going on. And it's not legit. It's not real. The real war is it's indoctrination and it's manipulation of our minds. And I don't want to say brainwashing because that sounds so far-fetched and generic, and people get offended when you say, oh my gosh, I can't be manipulated like that. Man, you'd be surprised. We want to think that we're in control. We want to think that we've got all this figured out. But if you really sit down and examine your life, how much control do you have over it? I have to work. I have to get the jab. I have to have insurance. No, you don't. You don't have to do any of those things. Yeah, again, Florida, you're preaching to the choir. They've already gotten rid of our morality. We're a debased society. But I do believe the scripture says that, like, Israel is protected by God and he gives them time to repent and all this stuff. And I think America either has the 2 lost tribes in it or we are the original Israel. It is a stage, I agree. Absolutely. And again, I've talked about all that. I'm a little older. I've been watching YouTube since its advent, so I've been researching since the internet was a thing. So a lot of that stuff isn't new to me. Most mentally sick of all countries. Well, let's not play doctor here because I resent when people say things like that. It's not our job to diagnose people in comment sections of videos. And I don't like the hypocrisy either. The CDC and mainstream news telling us, you can't talk about that. You can't give medical advice. You can't post about that to regular people like you and me just trying to get information. But the bigger channels can say whatever they want. Well, they've got sponsors to back them. They still talk about CV. They're allowed to talk about it. Why not us? Because they don't want us getting ideas. They don't want us gathering. They don't want us knowing what's going on. And the problem here in the spiritual end of things is they've mucked around with too much of the occult BS instead of actually, I don't know, training these young men and women in the army and the services. I saw videos several years back. I knew it was going to be a problem. They were talking about how most of our military were Satanists now. And again, freedom of religion is a thing. I get that. The problem comes in when you think that your life is worth more than the person standing next to you. Even if the person standing next to me is a terror, and I'm not, and I don't know that to be a fact, I'm still not better than them, and I'm not going to look down on them. Like, that's not how we should be. Do you believe in the afterlife? Yes and no. Yes and no. I've already done that a couple of times. And I've seen things happen with other people. And I've talked about all this, so I don't want to get into like a whole thing about it. You can go to the past videos, but yes, I believe in another life. I wouldn't call it an afterlife. I think we go from glory to glory, one life to the next life to the next life. But I don't believe like other people do. I don't believe in reincarnation. I think that's a deception. I think that it is a counterfeit of resurrection. But somebody decides that. I think God will have it. But I don't want memory wiped no more. And I want to see what Eden was like, and I want to see what it was like before the fall. I don't want to be, I backfired on it. Most got more woke during them times. Ha! I've started going backwards with like technology and everything. I've got like a tape cassette player now. I got a video camcorder. Right, exactly. And that's what ecumenical means is multi like multi worship, worshiping together, right? So that's like, and again, I've done a video on this. Um can I get to it? Hold on. Hold please. Let me check. I'll see if I can find it. Pope's Church. Now, here's the thing, and this is why I think the Pope has been deceased for a while now. When a Pope dies, oftentimes to commemorate them, they will build a church in that Pope's name, okay? Ooh, sorry, that's terrible. Francis. Come on, man. Sammy's snoring, I'm sorry. Pope Francis, and what was I going to add to that? Shoot. Oh, church in his name. There's a diagram that I shared in one of the older videos, and they show it. Oh, wow. I didn't know that was his first name. Jorge Mario Bergoglio. Let me see his church, man. I want to see his church. Anyways, they usually don't do this until they are deceased. What is it? Okay, there we go. Abrahamic family house in Abu Dhabi to open in 2022. Is this it? There we go. Right here. This is why I think that Antichrist will be open to ecumenicalism, but he also has an unnatural affection. That's why you're seeing all these churches now, in case you didn't notice, how they're now welcoming to the rainbow communities. That's by design too. That's part of the pattern. The AC will have unnatural affections. It says he will never have known the love of a woman. So when he is revealed, whoever his wife is just a beard. Excuse me. And we have a lot of that going on with these men who took oaths. Sadly, I've seen it in action, and I know from some type of experience, but I'm not going to get into that either. It's very personal. So this is what ecumenical means, is like multi-believed people worshiping together. And so this was started in 2019. And so you have, oh, I can't see what you're saying because it's black. Obama. And I was thinking about, like, that's my other pick, is Michelle being president. But again, with the trend I'm seeing physically with all the red hair, I know you guys don't get it yet and you don't agree with me, and that's fine. But you're seeing these things manifest in a multitude of people because that is what the AC will be like, right? Or is like. And he is the head of the hive, like the queen bee. And so everything that the AC desires, everything that the AC enjoys, everything that the AC hates, so will all his proxies, right? All of his underlings, all of his little worker bees will be and manifest habits and mannerisms like that person. It will be almost unstoppable. They won't be able to help it. That's why a lot of people are going to need deliverance. And this is why chips and all that don't even matter in this regard. Because getting someone with a demon is not hard. Why do you think we're going through so much trauma right now? Why do you think the domestic abuse shelters and even like the psych wings and hospitals all closed down during CV? They weren't taking anyone into the abuse shelters, yet they're still taking donations. Think, guys, put all this together. And I know you think you're right, and I know you're just commenting and you just want to say this and you want to get your point across, but I've laid this out for years now to everybody. Like this is happening. It's happening. And again, so I think the Pope is deceased. They're using a lot of old videos of him. He looks different in each one. And I'm hard pressed when it comes to believing any image anymore. But the thing is they never do this unless a pope is deceased. They don't commemorate or honor the pope that way until they are gone. But this church has his name on it. Whatever one is in there. And honestly, they're quite ugly. They are horrendous examples of architecture. They're just so basic and ugly. He funded Leave the World Behind film. See, and people give the Pope a hard time, but I think, again, I don't think that's him saying these things. I think we are trusting the media too much, and it's dividing us, and it's doing exactly what they want it to do. It's propagandizing us. It's indoctrinating us to behave in a certain way. They don't want us to trust our neighbors. They want us to police each other. But I do believe they're going to get rid of policemen, and we're going to have UN troops come in. Why do you think so many policemen right now are getting outed? Why do you think that's happening? And again, I grew up around police. I babysat for a local sheriff. I did his campaign posters for when he became judge. Like, we were in good with police. My mom had a small business. But now I come to find out, like, that's not a good thing. She was probably wicked, and that cops aren't all good. This has all been planned for a very long time. When I first met my spouse, I swear, first few times, he would ask me questions, and it was like almost an interview process. I didn't know what was going on. I was a young girl. I was in love. I thought we were just getting to know each other, but the questions were very specific and related to faith and what I thought of Jesus. I'm like, oh, he's interested. Well, here he never asked me again once we talked about it. These families raised these people like this for this time. They knew this was coming. But I don't think they can control what they're doing. This is why you see people with the same speech patterns and scripted behaviors and words. And again, it's everywhere. You're seeing that red hair and these physical things take over. We'll get rewarded for turning each other over. Absolutely. Like the Stasi. And guys, these things are already happening. Just because they're not on the news, they're not going to televise the tribulation. That's not happening. They don't want you to know what time it is. Even though they know. They want you ignorant and in the dark. So they can do whatever they want in this time that they get. The problem is, I don't like that they think they're going to win. Why do they think that? Clearly, you can't beat the one who created you. Clearly, he's already doomed them to eternal isolation or whatever. Tartaria is their realm, and you have all these mudflood people talking about Tartaria. Man, that's where the fallen angels go to be trapped. That's where God traps them. So these people talking about Tartaria like it's a great place, they're just gaslighting you too. Look into all the ammo purchased by DHS. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's just honestly, I said that too when all this began, that there's some type of deception with guns and weapons, but I have not figured out what that is yet. And I don't know, maybe they flew me to friggin' England or China even, and put me in one of those empty cities and made it look just like mine. Maybe I was drugged and that happened. But it's just so weird the way people are talking to me. Like, isn't that in the States? Like, yeah, I am in the States, aren't I? Billions of rounds. Yeah, I've heard that since 2012. I'm not scared. That stuff don't scare me, and it doesn't bother me either. I'm here, like, there are plenty of channels to go to for, like, physical prepping, which I talk about a little bit, but I'm learning from them too, right? So I try to encourage everybody to, like, prepare their spirits for what's coming, because it's not going to be easy. And for me, it started in 2017, and I think for me, there's some type of climax coming and it's almost over. But I think for some people, it's not even going to start until that eclipse. Let me look. I'm going to look at the date. Oh, absolutely. They don't want regular people to have ammo either, right? That's what the guys around me always said. If they wanted to get rid of weapons, they would just raise the price of ammo to like $100 a bullet or whatever. Why do men like to fight war so much? I don't get it. Like, I mean, I believe in fighting for a cause. My family was French, man. We got down with the French Revolution. Like, that's what we did. But and there's a time, there's a season for everything, and I don't think change is a bad thing, and I don't think it's bad that these young kids are coming up and taking responsibility. The problem is they were indoctrinated in these schools and they weren't telling us about it. Nobody knew what was going on. What'd you do today, son? You got homework? Let's get it done. How was this class? How was that class? Your kids don't tell you everything. I know there were a few things that I said, no, I don't want you to go do that. And he went and did it anyway. And then I just stayed after and I did blah, blah, blah. I said, I told you I really didn't want you doing that. But again, this has all been on the sly, man. A lot of these people knew what they were doing and knew what was coming. And a lot of people were raised by wickedness, I guess. And if you look into like World War II and Project Paperclip and how those engineers and scientists came over here and started NASA, right? And then you like and like people believe the moon landing. Why don't you tell me how they used a rotary phone to call NASA or to call the shuttle? How did they do that, guys? Because I don't get it. How'd they call the moon? No. I don't get it. And first they tell you can't get through the Van Allen belt. Now they don't even call it the Van Allen belt, which is the flippin' firmament. They know they can't get through it. They're never going to tell us that, though. I mean, nobody asked these dumb questions. Like, how did a phone call get made while they were on the moon? Before cell phones, allegedly. And why are all these fake... There was like, hold up. What was it called? Invasion of LA? I know. Why have we never been back to the moon? Dude, now it's China's turn to, like, be the big guys, right? Like, America's got to take a seat. We're going to have to go through some stuff, man. And Obama said that at his 2008 speech. And Obama's babies, he's behind these 15-minute cities. So this isn't a one-man show. And I have my reasons for thinking this, but I think there's going to be 5 guys. Just like 5G. You have the Beast, you have the AC, you're going to have Son of Perdition, whoever he surrounds himself with, basically, his little posse. Okay, so what was I going to look up real quick for you guys? I wanted to show you. Shoot, I got to talking. What was it? Oh, man. See, that's the only bad thing about doing these is like when the comments come up, I can't keep up with it. Hollywood Production, The Truman Show. Dude, shut up. The Truman Show is my life. I swear somebody somewhere is watching me. I'm probably on a billboard in New York or something. I don't even know it. I wouldn't, at this point, I would not doubt it. The way people treat me, the way I'm talked to, the way my life is like a show. I don't think I'm the important one either. It's the people here and around me. It has nothing to, I mean, it has something to do with me, only that I'm around the wrong kind of beings. I'm in Cana, basically. There's a lot of Canaanites out here. Actually, one of my son's friends has that name. His name is Canaan. That's interesting, because my second son has a very interesting name, too, but I'm not going to say what it is, because it's very specific. But his father picked it, and I didn't know why he picked it, but now I wish I had said no. Oh my gosh, what? All right. So I think I'm going to end this video, but what we're going to do is we're going to segue into the eclipse. We'll talk a little bit about the first conjunction in 2017. That's what I want to look up. Hold real quick. When is Passover this year? Wow. The keypad's horrible when you go to incognito. Okay, so evening... What are you talking about? Oh, Passover holiday begins before sundown on April 22nd and ends after nightfall, April 23rd. Ash Wednesday. What are you saying? Neil Armstrong wouldn't swear in the Bible. I know. Remember that? That's crazy. Maybe it was, somebody said it wasn't a Bible, that it was a Quran. Whatever. He still wouldn't say it. Passover will begin on April 22nd and end. This all happens to be a Jewish leap year. Great. Leap years are built into the lunar calendar because the lunar is about 11 days shorter than the solar year. So an extra month is added to start. What? And shut up. Now that, like, I never heard of this. What are they talking about? An extra month is added? Like, where? When does this happen? I can't. Guys, that's not normal. And that's Cleveland. That's not normal. Is that normal? Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that either. I wouldn't doubt it. You should see how many holistic doctors and cellular engineers that died under specific circumstances leading up to CV. It's crazy. And I did a video on it and it got taken down. It was a really good video too. It was like one of the best I did. And I talked about how I think they're trying to piggyback entities on us through these injectables. Anyways, what is Easter Day? Can you just tell me Easter? Easter is on the 30th. What? The vernal equinox on the 20th of March and the following full moon. Couldn't we just stick with the other calendar? It was probably a lot easier than making stuff up as we go. I've never heard of adding a month anywhere. Like, where are they going to do that at? It's about 11 days shorter than the solar year, so an extra month is added to certain years. What are they talking about? Is this, what calendar are they using? Like, what's going on? Stop it. Because this is I think it's a Jewish thing. Key is Paschal full moon, the first full moon on the spring, March 20th. Both Eastern follow a schedule that aligns with the moon's phase and the sun's position in the sky. See, and some people say that that's pagan-like. And I don't get it. Like, we know we're not worshiping the sun, right? I don't understand why they say that. April 17th. That's all I wanted to know, guys. Like, you couldn't just... Oh my god, and it's from 2022. That's the wrong year, guys. What day is it in 2024? Hold, please. Because I want to see March 31st. Okay. When is this? April 8th. When was Passover? It starts on the 22nd. Okay, so April 8th. Is that what I said? Hold, please. Okay, so this is on April 8th. I want to see... Oops. Boy, this is terrible when you go incognito. I won't type either. Eclipse time? No. Path? No, I've already... We're going to do all that, but I want to see... Let's see. 12:33. Total eclipse begins at 1:51. Can you please shout me out? What does that say? I don't see what your name is. No. Hooping forever? Is that dirty? Did I say a dirty word or something? People always get me to do that stuff. I'm so gullible. Hooping forever. Hooping. Hoping? Okay. So it's 12:33. So I want to know, does it have a regular phase though? Does the moon go out of phase? You know what I mean? Like, where will it be? Moon phase. Oh my gosh, this keypad is terrible. I'll never go incognito on Chrome again. Moon phase. Eclipse. Like, I want to know what phase the moon is coming out of when that happens. Like, was it a full moon the night before? The moon will miss the sun on our sky's dome by a relatively large distance. That's January. The most anticipate April 8th will be visible from... That looks like a good one. Oh, yeah. There's the prenumbral. We talked about all that. I don't like that it looks like a bullseye. That's creepy to me. So it is after Passover, right? Did you just get rid of everything I did? Because you're a goober. Dang it. Show it to me again. Easter. 2024. There we go. Hello. Go. No. Oh my gosh, it's terrible when it's on Chrome. Okay. Easter will be observed on March 31st. And then Passover is April 20th or 11th. What day is Easter in April? Where are you? That's what I'm looking for, right? Let's check it out. And I never even heard of this stuff as a child, man. The total flakes. Why is the moon red tonight? When is the next blood moon? 2025. I wonder what cycle it's in. What will happen in September 2024? Have the opportunity to witness a partial lunar eclipse. September 17th. I don't like when things happen at September. That's like a big month for shenanigans that they obviously enjoy. A partial lunar eclipse. I just wanted to see like the phase of the moon that week, right? Like to see if it was starting as... Are you into the moon and stuff? I don't know as much about it as I should. I've started like gardening and stuff, and it's good to know when to plant things. I think we should be aware. At the same time, I don't think like if you want to know about your future and stuff like that, I think you should just ask God and be quiet and meditate on it. Trusting things like that, you can actually have the opposite effect, right? If you're trying to avoid doing something that you're told is going to happen, just the fact that you're thinking about it could make it happen, right? So that's why, like, God gives me so many words, but I don't do like other people. Like, I'm not trying to get attention. I don't need to be popular. I don't want to be a big channel. I don't want to be on television or any of that stuff. It's not about that. I don't want to sit and like write like Shakespeare or a prophet, thee and thou and all that stuff. I'm just me. And I'm just telling you what God put in my heart and what he tells me, because he always warns us before he does a thing. And he's been warning me for a long time. And I've been warning you for a long time. And I think that things are going to start to happen really fast. And I think we should be prepared in our heart and our spirit first. Because your body isn't going to matter if you don't have the mental fortitude to endure. I know this from experience, right? I'm blessed with a strong mind, but a semi-broken body. And heart. Like, my heart is in pieces. And I was going to talk about that a little bit and open up with you guys, but I'm going to end this because it's been too long now, and I'm just jabbing now. But that's kind of my summary. That's where I think things are headed. That's what it looks like right now. You know. No, don't go. What is this live about? Go back and watch the beginning. It is a summary. It is us catching up before I get back to like more serious videos, or at least a little more organized. I wanted to get everybody caught up. Talk more about the end of the world. Hey man, it ain't the end of the world. It's just a changing of an age. It'll be a new age. But to get to the good times, to get to the season of peace and harmony, unfortunately, history shows us that revolt usually happens first. I was hoping we could avoid that. I was hoping humanity had evolved enough to a certain point where we don't have to bludgeon each other or steal from each other. But that seems to be all anybody cares about is stuff and things, man. People don't care about people no more. Wait, what does it say? I can't read it. I believe it all. Everything you think, I believe. And many others, too. More than people know. That's interesting you said that. That gave me the chills. I feel weird now. Florida is an important part of my testimony, and I went there and everything changed. And I don't like that. Seriously, yeah. Florida was a big, and this is weird. When I started investigating those Slender Man videos, because I started suspecting that they were real, and somehow AI is I think people are involved too. I don't think it's just AI. Just like this targeting stuff. They pick somebody for whatever reason. Oh, Sammy. Oh, he's howling in his sleep. Hush, baby. It's okay. All right, Mama's here. Yeah, he's a good boy. That's my good boy. Stop snoring. My goodness. I wanted to see if you guys could hear. Yeah, Florida, when I went to Florida and came back, everything was different. And Florida was weird. When I went there, again, there was like nobody there. I'm like, it's Florida, right? Nobody wants to hang out. Where is everybody? We went into a restaurant. I swear it was just us. I don't know what's going on. Guys, I like literally feel like I'm Truman, like I'm on a show. Or I'm patient zero and I got the plague and people won't come near me. And I can read your mind as I think the same things in my subconscious. Hold up. That's bizarre. Are you stalking me? You're going to have to email me. I'm going to go against my new rule here and you're going to have to email me. What do you mean no? No what? You don't want to email me? Well, that's fine. Sammy. Oh my gosh. Not stalker. Oh. Sam. Shh. It's okay. It's okay. I'm sorry. I'm too loud. What are you doing? Stop it. I don't know what he's doing. He's dreaming. Samson. I'm sorry, guys. I think that the beast comes from the ocean. Somebody asked about that. There's more than one. Okay, you got it. Scripture's weird, man. He hands over beast and gives the beast control, and the beast has the one eye, so it really leads me to believe it is the camera, right, and the surveillance system that I think has been in place long before we were here. I'm spiritually connected, and God is pouring the same visions and thoughts into me as he is into you. That I believe, because I've run into a few people like that now. And they have channels, you know, they're small, but they're like me, which is cool. It's nice to not feel crazy and alone. That's another thing too, this Slender Man thing. The skinwalkers, all this stuff. What's weird about the Slender Man one is they all had medicine. They all were taking some type of medicine. And you know that when demons, allegedly, when you have demonic activity occurring, I don't know why, but it affects your physical health, right? And you can get phlegm, mucusy, right? I'm taking stuff right now because almost every January around my birthday or Valentine's Day, I lose my voice. That's another reason I wasn't doing a whole lot of videos right now is because I don't want to get to that point this year. I'm trying to avoid that, right? I think my voice is going to come in handy. It's my weapon, right? My tongue is my weapon, if that makes sense. And so I need it to be in working order. I think there are things coming upon the earth. I think they're already here. I just don't think we can see them because of the veil. It's bigger than we both think, but many are suppressing the thoughts that something is very wrong, pacifying the worldly thoughts and distractions. Yeah, right? Like, that has bothered me for, like, nobody, and I almost feel like I need to break my pattern, right? I need to get out of this loop. And the only way to do that is to do something radical, like totally change my path. And I do, like right now, I stick to myself because I think I need to be set apart and holy or I'm better than anybody. It's because I fell and because I didn't always behave well. And so I don't want to be a reminder to people. I don't want to put myself in people's, face. Hold up. Yeah. Yeah, I have. I've done videos on her. Uh-huh. God, I got the chills again. Stop that. Oh my God. En nombre de Patria y Filio y Espíritu Santos. That's crazy. Yes. I was just thinking of her today because I go through her social media every now and again, and it leaves me breadcrumbs and clues. What are you thinking to yourself? I'm also thinking, and many, many others. I don't want to be part of a hive mind though, man. Like, I don't want none of that. I don't want to be an NPC. No way. Are you talking about the alleged true crime involved in her story? Or are you talking about the high strangeness involved in her story and what she said in her phone call? Because I don't want to give too much weight here about, like, personally, like, why we're talking about this. I mean, I've talked about it and I've looked into it and I've researched it. And it's very weird because she has a part of my testimony in her story. So I don't know if our tapes got melded together or what, but well, here's the thing. I can't find a lot of information on her, but the last phone call, she told her mother about we're in the Matrix. It was a thought experiment. Okay, but then what I don't like is she seems like a fake person. Now follow me here. Her social media presence, there's almost no pictures of her, which is fine. Some people are that way. But a lot of them are very generic looking, okay? She's always covering her face. Her face looks like it's almost being airbrushed or pixelated or filtered in some way. But I have seen video of her and she seemed like a nice girl. I didn't look yet, but I would be willing to bet that there's some type of Mormon in her family. People are often going missing in the deserts and stuff. Here's the other thing, though. When she was found in the back seat of her own rental car, in the back seat, deceased, they did not say what was wrong with her. She was in another state. She had flown to go to a tech conference. Well, she went to this tech conference, and they allegedly said she partied a little bit, might have done some LSD and meditation for the first time ever. Okay, that's what they're going to say, so that you don't believe anything else that might get leaked out. That's called damage control, right? And that's what we're seeing now with the child harmers. They know they can't hide it no more, so now they're going to act like the good guys. And they're going to gaslight all the real Christians, and they're going to point fingers at us and accuse us of everything they have done. I know that's how it works. I live it every day. I live with one of these people. Well, several of them. And that's how they operate. And again, I love my family to the moon and back. I would walk through fire for them, and I have done that for them. But they're not themselves, and so I pray. Who the F are you? Who are you? I don't know. Why you here, man? See yourself out. Go pound sand. Kick rocks, buddy. Have a good night. So, yeah, the Aaron Valenti thing is like a real... Like, that ties into stuff in a strange way. Because when I was investigating her YouTube page and her Instagram, it was very strange. I think after her retreat, she started to Wait, what does that say? Expose some stuff. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think she knew that her app was going to be used for nefarious means. However, if she's like me and she kept digging after that, and she found some of the stuff that I have found, it might not have anything to do with that, actually. Yeah, there's very little information out there about her. Her husband was allegedly a psychiatrist, but you don't hear anything about him in her social media at all, I don't think, until she goes missing. He said that she had been stressed, but I don't think she had any problems. But here's the problem here is he was her husband, but he was also her doctor. Like, he was acting as her doctor, even though he wasn't. So that's a conflict of interest right there. What's the deepest rabbit hole? Oh my gosh, dude, they don't end. That's the problem with them. Is they don't, there's no resolution. There's no gratification. They don't stop. I want answers. I don't want to just chase stories, But you also make a valid point, though. I don't know what regard. But she said some strange things. And if you look at her, like we went through to her YouTube channel and we clicked on the videos and stuff that she has on playlists. And there's some weird stuff over there on her page. One of the things she has is a video of a didgeridoo. Now, didgeridoo is part of my testimony. Somebody said that to me in the very beginning when I still had friends and I was walking to my friend's house that I didn't know, just moved in the area, didn't know her son and my son were like best friends. Nobody told me. Yeah, come to find out, it's a whole orchestrated thing. But anyway, where was I going with that? You guys make me forget what I'm talking about. Oh, but you also make about oh, didgeridoo. And yeah, didgeridoo, the thing with that is it is an instrument, right? It's an Australian instrument. And if you want to have a child, allegedly, the woman would blow the didgeridoo. Only if she wants to become fertile. She's not allowed to touch it any other time or something like that. But yeah, dude, that's her page. Like when I went through her stuff, it's very bizarre. The other thing she has on there, and I don't remember where I found it. It might have been her Instagram. Or was it a playlist? It might have been a playlist, but it's like real short. It's just that's what it is. It's just a screenshot. Look, I'll show you. Hold on. I'll show you her page. Her Instagram is really weird. I was going to look at that not too long ago. And I don't think I ever went too deep into that. There's not a lot of stuff about this, though, right? And the app she was using, I think she found out it was going to be used in trafficking and selling, things like of that nature. And she didn't want that to happen. But something worse happened because she said we are in the Matrix. It was all a thought experiment. What is she talking about? Is she talking about her or all of us? Like, it's like she's warning her mother, right? Then mysteriously died. I want to see her page, though. Show me her channel. Is it still up? Show me her page. Erin, yep. Come on. And see, she's got the sunglasses. Like, there's just a type, man. There's something going on in the spirit, and you see the same things over and over and over. Dragon, crash, survive. Why is that in there? This world is a lie. She died and discovered we live in a... Oh my gosh, it never ends. See, they want you to believe that, and I'm not gonna like go with that. I'm not subscribed. All right, so here you have, if you click here, you know that you'll see the date the channel was started and how many views it has, okay? Very generic, and that's, like, is she just a caricature? Are these fake stories that we're supposed to, like, dig into so we can figure it out? Like, is it just a fake story being put out so we can learn things or whatever? Okay, so here's her playlist, which is weird. The future of work. Will our children be... I don't even want to know what that says. Where's the... Will our children be prepared? Okay. So we see the computerized stuff there going on. And now if we go to... What you even looking... Don't worry about it, dude. Somebody else asked me to look at. Go on. If you don't want to be here, you don't have to be here. Hi. So here's the other thing that's weird. You guys know I'm really big into the Chad and Lori Daybell case. That's a rabbit hole for you. If you want to get into one, look at that. I don't think they're being honest about what's going on there. Again, we are being told things out of order. We're getting bits of truth, okay? And some of it's coming from AI. Not to mention, we are upside down compared to heaven, right? God made us in his image. What is an image? It is a reflection in the water, and the reflection in the water, okay? Like Narcissus, sort of. But God made us instead of looking at himself. So he made us, right? We're in his image, okay? My name is Dan. I don't know what that says. Okay. So what's weird about this? Do you guys remember the emergency alert that was sent out a few years ago about Hawaii? And they said, never mind, it was not a real alert. Do you remember that? I have a really strange feeling about Hawaii and about travel in general. You guys know that, though. Have you ever researched the shady group called the Finders? I think I did run into that, but I don't think I went too deep in that. Okay, so the secret to desire in a long-term relationship. These are, where did I find that other one she had? Okay, there's her own short video. That's allegedly where she works. This is the award that she was winning, right? That she went away for conference. Again, this looks like an ARG. If you look at it, it looks like a fake story because there's so little there. Where did I find that female part, though? In one of her social medias, it might be on her Instagram. There's a screenshot or a picture, and it is of some female plug or connector for a computer, but I forget exactly what part it is. So, yeah. Her whole deal is bizarre. Her whole story. I missed what you said. There it is. She has one video and one short. Yeah, that's it. But if you go to her Instagram, it's bigger and there's more stuff on there. And then again, with these kind of things that there's not a lot of information on, you have to go through them and find out where the commonalities lie. Smells a fake profile. Exactly, right? Thank you. It does. So I don't know if this story is being used. Again, I think there are stories in the media that are not true. None of them. But I think there are certain stories that they're trying to tell us what's happening. But again, you can't come right out and tell somebody it's not a good idea to wake a sleepwalker. And we all spiritually grow at our own rate. Nice selfie pic in her car, like a crisis actor. Yeah, right. Yeah, pretty much. So why did they put this story out? What did they want us to know? That's why I started looking at it, because I was like you. I'm like, wait a second. This don't look legit. She only has 1 or 2 videos. They're both related to that story. Honestly, it reeks of an RPG online game, like a role-playing game, or an ARG, like where you have to click on things and search things to find out what happened to the person or whatever. And all these people that go missing, for even if they are found, not found, why do they all have a picture in front of the Grand Canyon? Is the Grand Canyon fake? Has anyone ever been there? I've never been there. I've never been anywhere. You could tell me anything and I wouldn't know any different because I've never seen it. But if we look, she's got a whole bunch of those types. She was a climber. And if you look at her Instagram, like, she obviously is self-sufficient. Her Instagram had nothing but pictures of mountain climbing equipment. But again, I think that's a clue. And you see, like, it almost looks like it's kind of filtered, right? Like, her face doesn't look, dude, I don't know. It just looks like kind of AI-ish. I don't know. It just looks, what's the word I'm looking for? Sanitized? So rabbit hole me a little. What conspiracy was she uncovering or exposing? Okay, so her business, hold on. Which one it will have the better? And what's really weird is she went to this conference, right? She took a plane, went to this conference, had some type of mental breakdown there claiming, caught her mom, told her mom, oh my God, we're in the Matrix. This is a thought, it started as a thought experiment. And then they find her body in the backseat of her rental car. They never say what happened. And her neighbor found the body. Will somebody tell me how her neighbor got to another state when the girl was on a plane to another state? How did her neighbor find her? None of this makes any sense, guys. None of it. I don't know, like, they're putting it out for specific reasons. A lot of pain and fear, but can really use your Harrison Weinstein. My wife, Erin Valenti, has been missing since Monday night. She was last seen in Palo Alto Monday afternoon, wearing torn jeans and a white t-shirt. She was driving from Palo Alto to San Jose, but never returned her rental car or made it onto her flight home to Utah. Her phone has been off since Monday night. If you have seen or heard from her, She was last driving a gray Nissan Murano with CA plates. 8 Lud 641 Adel UD. No, it doesn't spell anything, I guess. Any information to her whereabouts, blah, blah, blah. And like I said, that dude allegedly is a psychiatrist. What? And but yeah, I agree with the Florida guy. She doesn't look like a real person. Like she does, but she doesn't. I don't know how to describe it. And all these missing people always, right before they go missing, get a picture taken in front of the Grand Canyon. Like, dude, is it even real now? Like, I'm seriously wondering. Heavy.com, I get it. Crazy. Yeah, right. What mostly got me is no one noticed her car right on the street for days and how she ended in the back. Right? Like, how'd she get back there? They didn't say she was, like, molested or anything. And I think they said she died of natural causes. What does that mean? I don't know, man. This stuff's getting really weird. And when I started noticing, I told you about those trends in those YouTuber videos that how do I say this? Okay, so there's nothing new under the sun. All of the land has always been here. It was flooded for a while, but it's always been here, right? At the end days, the mountains will melt, it is said. They'll actually melt, and the sky will roll open like a scroll, which will be the firmament. Kind of like Spaceballs. If you ever saw Spaceballs when the princess was flying away, and they open like a window in it, that's legit. Like, it'll be something like that. But I think the firmament is like some material we don't know what it is. We have to remember, though, that technology, like our concept of technology, might need tinkered with a bit, because it all comes from the angels, right? They say fallen angel technology, and they weren't supposed to show it to us, or at least not yet, in our, immature state. I mean, Adam walked around like an idiot, excuse me, in the books of Adam and Eve, like he really did. He walked around like a bobblehead with his head full of stuffing. I couldn't stand it. I was kind of mad about it. But I think there's a lot going on here that it's just hard to deny at this point, right? And I don't personally know what it means. They've been trying, right. Exactly. We need some nuggets, but epic fail. Oh, yeah. Yeah, nobody's ever gotten through it yet, right? Like, it's not happened. So, yeah, on her, I think it's her Instagram that shows some female part. There's a male plug and a female plug, end or whatever for, like, different things. Oh, my God, is that a Kraken behind her? It is. The Kraken is coming, right? What does that say? Music gallery, film quest, prepare for fantastic. The best of the best. It's a Kraken. Boy, if that isn't prophetic. That's one of the beasts of the sea, man. The Kraken. And he's got the black ink. We've talked about obsidian and ferrofluid and all that stuff. And about we're going to go over that too. Like, we're going to have a movie or a video where we talk about typecasting. This is when I started suspecting that some movies aren't just movies and some actors aren't just actors. I think it's very possible we are seeing either into another dimension below us, above us, beside us, or we're seeing people that don't necessarily know all the time that they're being watched. You have to watch certain videos with a very discerning eye, and I'm obviously not talking about big channels who are like newscasters and have podcasts, right? I'm talking about smaller channels than that. But if you start to chip away at some of these things, it can freak you out. Like, it really can. I can see why she got like that. I think this chick is off her meds. Me or this chick? Man, go away. Do you not realize, like, I have more people like me here than you? This isn't your space, dude. Go on. Nobody, like, that doesn't work anymore. Aren't you guys sick of that? Pointing to people and calling them crazy and saying they need to get on meds? Man, go kick rocks. Seriously, go learn something. Go read a book. Get out of your mom's basement. So the Finders was a group caught in Florida. No kidding. All right, let me look that up because do you want to email me, Florida person? Can you hit the, I don't know what that means. Yeah, please email me. You want me to write it down? It's, was on my page. It's Artist Lady 03. Trace back to the guy. Dude, I didn't implant list. I don't know which. Go away. It's artistlady03@gmail.com. Because I want to talk to you about trace back to the satanic occult. I did look at that briefly, but if you go, okay, so I want to show, this is for you. This, like, other people, I mean, it's for whoever wants to see, but I told you guys about this one the other day. I legit don't think this was fake. I don't. I know everybody else thinks it was fake, or thinks it was, like, acting and all this stuff, but dude ain't been back, okay? And I think he was another targeted one. Because again, they talked about Slender Man, but it wasn't really about Slender Man. It was about being targeted in technology. And this one, listen to me for 1 second. Can I get the verification code? I don't know what that means. Okay, anyways. Oh, did you with my email? Really? You think you're funny? I'll screenshot that. And you can go down for harassment. You can't mess with people's mail. That's a federal offense, dude. Go kick rocks. Well, what I'm trying to say about this Slender Man thing is that, like, these kids were using that as, like, it's basically a boogeyman, right? I think he looks like a man in black myself. I think these men in black are using technology. I think they can cloak all that stuff. I've seen, like, that predator stuff out of the corner of my eye. I know that I've had something following me. The problem is that I think, Florida, you're onto something, because some of it is our parents were into stuff that we don't know they were into, and I think my mother was one of those people, because you don't get a small business unless you're in the club. But what? No, you ain't using my email, dude. Yeah, get a life. Thank you. Thanks, Florida. So this is supposed to be fake. It's supposed to be an ARG, right? But when this all ended, and I don't want to get into too much because you might not want to watch it, but you go oldest to newest, right? Now, first he said he was using this for the 12 tribes of Israel. Pay attention there. The class project was canceled. He's now going to use the channel to serve as a memorial for his late cousin. But when he starts filming things, he starts noticing he's being followed. Why is it that when we start filming things, we seem to get an attachment? That's going to be one of the next videos, guys. We're going to talk about analog versus digital, and why, if you can, especially if you have any demonic issues or you live with people who have them, go backwards. Find yourself a camera with film, especially if you think you have, like, a poltergeist or an entity, because always the name of Jesus gets rid of these things, I believe. But not everybody has the same faith that I have. Not everybody is that strong in faith. So sometimes you need a rosary or a medal or something a little extra to make you feel safe. These elemental beings, there's a reason fairy tales exist. Certain metals like copper and iron and silver work to repel certain beings. And I believe that we're here with them. And that doesn't have nothing to do with meds, man. Again, all you got to do is go. But I think he was targeted. I think he was followed. And I think the people around him started mucking with him and gaslighting him. But what's really weird is if you go to this video, crawl space. There's like a portal, right? And he gets to the boardwalk in Florida, like through this portal from his house. But he goes under his desk to get there, and the computer tower's right there. Again, we're looking at 2 Slender Man series, and they both have this hidden parable of going inside of a computer, guys. I don't want to come out and say too much because, again, certain things you got to come to on your own. But he didn't even mention it. They didn't mention it as being a planned part of the video, right? He didn't say, well, this is why it happened, because I went under here and the computer's there and that's how I ended up there. They didn't even get into any of that. And I think that's one of the reasons it's red is because of the red light on the inside of a computer. Do you believe in bugs in your skin? Dude, go away. Come on. What is wrong with you? Come on. I don't believe any of that stuff will happen to me. So if you're trying to attach that energy to me, man, I rebuke it. Go away. In the name of Jesus. Spread awareness. Dude, you are bizarre. And I'm going to probably block you as soon as I can. Do I like Allah? Allah means God in Arabian, I think. Do you know they can use astro traveling through evil energy? Yes. And that's what we're going to talk about in the digital versus analog video. We're going to talk about how I think they're getting out now. This will be a nice segue. This is what we're going to talk about next time. Okay? But I want to show you first. Back in the day, and I know this because I had a gram and a daddy who made me watch black and white movies, and they were art, and I love them still. God bless them. Oh my gosh, can you just type right on this stupid thing? Okay, so they used to call the film, she'll be a star on the silver screen. Why did they call it a silver screen? Screen comes from the actual silver or similarly reflective aluminum content embedded in the material that made up the screen's highly reflective surface. Movie screens were coated with reflective metallic paint, resulting in a silver surface to better display the projected images. It's a specific type of screen onto which films were projected. Okay? We're going to talk about... No, I don't play Spider-Man, hon. We're going to talk about the difference between digital and analog and why that matters right now, especially if you're big into technology, man. You don't want to be using some of these screens. If you're here for a reason. You see the name of the channel. You know we're not going to talk about we are talking about everyday things, but we're talking about what's underneath that and what propels and promotes these things that we're seeing manifest in the physical world and why things are so unbalanced and backwards and upside down right now. And what can we do to participate in righting that and making things right again? I don't know what ONB means, and I don't know what Adderall is either. I'm not on any of that stuff. Go away, guys. There are people... Okay, why don't you go bother one of the big channels? There are guys that talk about aliens, right? But they're men, so they're allowed to do that, right? They make millions of dollars because they stick with the narrative that the government wants them all to play, right? Go kick rocks, gang stalkers. Go say hi to your mom. Why don't you go get an ice cream out of the fridge? Isn't it your bedtime? I'm not on perks, man. I'm not on anything like that. What is wrong with you people? No, I've never tried fentanyl. I never would. Actually, I'm going to do a video about drugs being gateways and why they should be avoided. So you'll probably be blocked because I don't promote any of that stuff on this channel. So there's an interview with the ex-Satanist. Latin guy talks about this astro traveling into rough gang areas and committing crimes through other people's bodies. I'm not a baby girl. Please don't call me that. So what I gave my email? So what? Guys, I really don't care if you jam up my email. Like, it's no skin off my teeth. I'm not going to open them. So don't bother. And he would feed off their demonic energy. So it's ASTRAL traveling, I think is what you're referring to. Now these are supposedly they're able to do these things and do, shoot. What word am I looking for? Is, monitoring spirits is what it's called, right? Like a familiar spirit. So, right. Yeah. I don't know what thug shaker is. Go away, guys. I think your mom's calling you. It's bedtime. But I am flattered that you're giving me so much attention tonight. It means I'm doing something right? Do you hear about the people in your walls? ASTRAL. It's not astral row. It's astral. How old are you guys? ASTRAL. You need to punch holes in. Man, I'm not punching holes in nobody's walls. You got the wrong girl. I'm not Minecrafting it up in my yard. No, thank you. Exactly, Florida. That's how it works. And the sin, like, when you transgress, it blinds you. Dude, I was like literally the Walking Dead for a while. I was pretty much a reprobate. Yep, I got Jesus. I'm all good now. This is why I talk about this stuff, and this is why I tell you not to consent. No, it's not astro, dude. It's astral. Okay. Like, seriously, I am like the grammar police because I can't stand that. The neighbors are watching you. Man, go away. Oops. Why won't it type on this? Guys, I'm older than you. I've read so many more books than you've ever even seen in your life, okay? I know how to spell. I know how to spell words, and I know how to spell with a psalm. Astral projection is a term used in esotericism to describe an intentional out-of-body experience that assumes the existence of a subtle body, known as the astral body. ASTRAL. Booyah. Okay, guys? I'm old enough to be your mom. John Ramirez, I've watched him. I have watched him. He gives a lot away. I'm surprised, really. Like, he really... I'm surprised he gives so much away. But that's what people don't understand. Like, they have these younger kids now thinking that they're literally going to die if they break an oath. Man, that's just a threat. If you go to Jesus, you go to God, he's not going to let that stuff happen to you. Especially if you're repenting, right? So, and I love that you guys are, like, stalking me tonight. I must be doing something right because you just won't stop. Thank you for all the attention. I appreciate it. I was getting pretty lonely. He don't give anything away. COD duty off. What does that mean? He don't give anything. Yeah, well, he gives a lot away as far as how, like I said, for kids who are on the lower levels and superficially, he gives them enough information that they could get out and know that Jesus will protect them. Okay? That's what his testimony is for. No, I understand what you're saying. I've heard of people doing that with animals, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm a little suspicious of that. But he couldn't go near into people that were Christ believers. Right. Is Jesus God? I don't know. Is he to you? What do you see? What do you say Jesus is? Ask about all the missing people. Dude, like, that is my thing. If I was closer, I'm not even kidding, I wouldn't dig my own tunnels, but I'd go down a few, and I know exactly which ones I'd go down. God has given me visions about all this stuff. Back when, before my head injury, I started getting these visions of cages. Like, I was in a cage and I couldn't get out. And, I kept, like, lifting my back. And then that's when they started talking about, like, kids in cages and all this stuff. It's so weird to see things that you personally, like, dream about happening. It's bizarre. Dude, I don't have a daughter. You're so mean. What is wrong with you? Like, what's wrong with you? Seriously. I just want to know. Do you realize how gross you are? Your daughter is in my trunk. What is wrong with you? You're lucky I don't have a daughter, dude, because I would come pummel you. That's ignorance. So I watched interviews with gang members in jail, and they talk about how they could feel the demonic spirits controlling their weapons. She is the Messiah. Please don't say that about me. I don't want to see you struck down, and I don't want to get struck down. The Messiah was here. He'll be here again. Just ignore them. I like you, Sean. You're cool. We have your pet dog in my basement. Archer, go kick rocks. Is this my son and his friends? Are you guys all, old enough to be your mother? They ain't getting my... You're confused there. They're not getting my energy. See, this one didn't catch it either. I was trying to get both of them. You can't see it. Oh my gosh. Okay, you want me to screenshot that and take it to the cops? Because I do have sons. So, why don't you stop? What do you believe about, hold on, demons attaching to objects? I don't really think, I'm torn about that. Again, I have really, really strong faith, right? So I don't personally get too bothered by that. Now, on the same token, there are certain things I won't allow near me, you know what I mean? There are certain things that I won't, let me think of something. Okay, for example, I won't take a gift now from people that I know are my enemies, because I did before. They were always giving me gifts, and now I don't want anything that they've given me in my house. Demons are dead Nephilim. Some, yes. Yes, and they're bodiless, which is why they go for possession and all that bizarre stuff. Can you tell us about the Antichrist? I did earlier. Go back. We will drive... I am not hot. God, go away. So yeah, I believe in them, but I feel like they've really dramatized exorcisms and deliverance. If you read what Christ himself said, he said these kinds will only go out through fasting and prayer. And that's not just of the priest or Christ delivering them. That's that person too. The person in need of deliverance has to, statues of Egyptian things. Yeah, my son has something like that in the basement. I'm almost wanting to get rid of it. And I used to have an Egyptian picture that I found in a thrift shop, and it was papyrus and everything. I really wanted to keep it. And I want to say, I'm not that kind of person who's going to look at every other religion and say wicked, demonic. But I do see the elements there that are demonic. But we have to remember that Christ's father was in Egypt, and Christ spent a long time in Egypt. So their customs, right? Your daily customs and your culture is different a bit than faith, right? So if we have, say, an Egyptian today who's going to convert, we can't tell him to stop speaking his language because he wants to convert, to Christianity. You should do discard. No, too many child harmers on there. And that's for young folks. I'm old. Christianity is just the Egyptian Shola worship. Same thing. I think they do have similar elements, but they're not the same thing. If you see life works like that. All over. It's all over. Like the butterfly effect. Or if you drop a drop of water and how it ripples outwards. And I give this analogy all the time. So visualize it in your head. Each individual... If an individual is a well-balanced, well-taken care of individual, then they are a commodity or, they're not a detriment to their family. And a well-rounded individual, then you have a well-rounded family. Then you have a well-rounded and well-balanced society. All things ripple out. So we have to change this. We have to start the change with ourselves. Flash us. It seems, go away, man. You are on your own channel. I don't know what you're saying. Do you think people are being easily misled and not realizing the demonic things there are and how blatant the artists are? Yes and no. I think that some people are just ignorant. They just don't know. I was like that even though I was raised in the church. I was like, man, it's just art. I'm just drawing stuff or I'm just looking at stuff, appreciating stuff. But people don't realize we want to think we're in control, but we are so easily influenced. If you empty out your brain and unindoctrinate yourself from the system, unlearn everything it taught you, and then put back in it what you want in it, you will reflect what you have heard and watched, what you've been exposed to. Unfortunately, we are vulnerable in that way, right? There's more than two, I think. I think there's more than two realms, but that's just me. It's only kids if you bring them on. Oh, I don't know how these guys got here. This is why I try not to do evening videos. I can fix her, guys. Who are you going to fix? Are you talking about me? Oh, I can fix my mom. The Trinity is in every tradition. I'm floating the Christianity just cherry picked what they wanted. And I don't completely agree with that. I don't completely disagree with that. You have to, if you really want to do unbiased research, stop just researching your own opinion, right? And finding stuff to back you, and research both sides of that. Because you're only having half the story, Mr. Baker. Okay? You have to do the history part. Now, a lot of people pick up a KJV and they'll say, this is a story. Somebody wrote it. Shakespeare wrote it. The book I have that I'm looking at right now is called Ecclesiastical History, and it was by Eusebius. And it was started just a few years after Christ died. It talks all about the consecration of Mary. It talks about why James was called James the Great, his brother. And it talks about how her womb was consecrated because she did not partake of eating death, aka she was a vegetarian. That's how her womb was consecrated. So, I don't know what a thug shaker is. Sorry. It all goes back to the Sumerians. But you have to understand, okay, look at the Sumerians, put them on one side. They're on one side of the chessboard, right? And then you put the Christians on the other side. The Sumerian story is from the perspective of the Anunnaki. It's from the perspective of the fallen angels. Of course, they're going to tell you how great they are. Man, you guys got to learn. Quit listening and parroting out what these bigger channels are saying. This is why I'm ready to leave YouTube too, because now it's just like cable. They've used the comment section, guys, to analyze us. They've used it to form these algorithms, and they've used it to teach the AI. And again, we have only ourselves to blame because people like you make very ignorant comments, and you are teaching the bots to be the same way. When you get a few years into this and you want to be an adult and you realize all the negativity that you put out into the world and why, oh, why is this happening to me? Don't come asking for pity, dude. This is serious stuff we're talking about. Our world is at risk here. Our children are at risk. You should care. It's true. It is true. I'm not saying that's the only reason God consecrates a person, right? But her womb was special because she never partook of meat. She did not eat death. Show me one time where Christ actually had a feast, where he actually ate meat. He didn't do it. I didn't say the N-word. What is wrong with you? She's missing my point and proving it at the same time at Florida. I just can't read as fast, like the comments are delayed, so. Have you watched the video with John Todd? Don't know what that is. Also, I'm probably the same age as you. I'm old, man. Mary was an Esteen. Yes, thank you, Keith. Ding, 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 ding. Somebody's doing their real research. Thank you. That's the whole thing, guys. If you're eating of animals, and I'm not judging you, because I still do it sometimes. It is hard to quit. I'm not going to lie. We're raised like that, right? Okay? I loved my bacon. Loved it. All right? She called me I did not say anything like that. I don't know what's wrong with you people. How do you feel about, I mean, do you think there are 3 different ways to celebrate it, and is it redeemable, or do you think the Halloween as a whole is demonic? Um, I think that's up to each individual and parent, the parent of the child. For me, I celebrated it for years, had a lot of fun. I know that. Um, it's really important to know the difference between what is real and what is fantasy. We're not supposed to let strong imaginations carry us away, right? Turn your face cam on. No, I don't feel like it. You guys are just gonna do your crap with it. No. I don't know what a thug shaker is, man. Oh my gosh. No, get out of here. Yes, rabbit hole for me. Please give me one. I could use a new one. But you gotta I think you should look into what I'm talking about. Where are you need to email me because I want to know where you're at in Florida. Dude, it's not just music videos, though. It's not just music videos. I'm talking about Netflix. I'm talking about streaming services. Why do you think, guys, Netflix did that movie about the train accident, and then there's news about it actually happening in East Palestine, Northeast Ohio, which, again, I don't think it happened. I think they're using those stories as our news. We don't know if that stuff's happening unless you're in that area. There was only one picture they ever showed of any of that. It's not real. Nothing we see on the screen is real. They're using it for a whole nother reason, guys. And it's to, oh, whoops, my bad. It's to get, where did it go? That one. I'm an occultist, but not a dark one. Yeah, because occult just means, hidden knowledge. And everything at that point was hidden. People had to go underground. And we're probably going to have to again soon. It's so funny that people, like, kids don't know today, right? Like, the tunnels underneath everything, as far back as I know, they were used by Harriet Tubman for the Underground Railroad to get slaves to safety up north, right? But they were also used for prohibition. They would sneak alcohol, they would make moonshine and alcohol, and they would sneak it into places using those tunnels because during the time of prohibition, it was banned in America. You weren't allowed to drink. I'm almost thinking we need to go back to that because people are acting fools. We can't monitor ourselves anymore. Everybody's just acting foolish. I am not a Buddhist. I'm not a Scientologist. I'm a Christ follower. Are you in the Rudolphs? I've seen some of his stuff, but him and what's the other guy? They get a little dark. What religion am I? I don't really claim one. I was raised Catholic. I still go to Catholic school or church, sometimes. I think confession is very, very, very important. If you keep in all the negativity and the stuff that you do, even if you don't feel regret or remorse right away, that stuff will eat at you. That's what causes sickness. Cancer or sickness is caused by sin, by you going against natural law with some part of your body or your spirit against somebody else's spirit. Like if you subvert somebody else's free will, if you take choice away from somebody, right? You're sinning against their true nature. So when that stuff happens, you get opened up to more things, right? Mark Passio. Oh, you're going to have to remind me. I've not heard that name in a long time, so I'm not sure. Did you say John Titor? You did not just say that to me. Oh my God, shut up. We need to talk outside of this video. Please email me. All right, you got my email? Because I'm going to bounce. This is way too long, and I would like to have a cigarette before I go to bed. So yeah, I'm going through a lot. I'm giving up some stuff. I was on 9 medications when I first went to God. Now I'm just on a thyroid medication, which I have to take. And, well, allegedly, I'm trying to get my diet so I don't have to take that. No, don't leave us. It's late. I'm sorry. And I'm old, so I need my sleep. But, I was bumming, guys, because it was my birthday, too, and it was bad. No, you won't. Stop that. We're all mad here. Haven't you heard? We're all mad here, man. Just call me Alice. And on that note, I'm done being called crazy for this day. I'll talk to you guys later. The next video will be more organized, and we will talk about the screens and why I got a camcorder, and I'll show it to you guys because I could use some help. And we're going to talk about the difference between analog, digital, and CDMA, TDMA, and SIMS in cells, and what those changes meant for us as a people and consumer, and as just, having them around in your house. You asked me if I believe demons could be attached to objects. I believe that spirits, which would mean demons too, you still have the certain laws that you have to follow, right? They have to walk like on the spider web. We get to bounce around in it because we got free will. They have it to a point. They had free will enough to rebel, right? So do they attach to objects? I think they could. That stuff doesn't bother me per se, but I have my own sanctuary in my bedroom. My husband has a lot of death metal paraphernalia. I wish it wasn't in the house. I hate it. I can actually feel it. That's why I hate being called crazy. You have people who are gurus. They make millions of dollars and talk like this. Why am I crazy? Because I don't make that money? Because I don't have a studio? Because I'm talking about the same types of things, raising your frequency, your vibration above the demonic dark energy. Talk about the same stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna go. As always, thanks, gang stalkers. You good? Yeah. You definitely gotta watch John Todd tape 1. Okay. And the tighter one I want to talk about with you privately. I would like to talk to you about this stuff on the next live stream. Shoot me an email, guys. But put something in the subject line so I know it's you, because I'll just delete the spam that these guys are going to send me. Like, I'll literally just delete it. Great convo that went to flames. Hey. Go away. I already gave it out. Just rewind the video. That went to flames. Oh, cool, Kata. I hope you show up again, though. It was nice having you guys. You guys were awesome. I love it when people talk back with me. I can't type. I'm on a phone. My cell phone doesn't let me type. All I can do is turn them off and on. Doesn't let me block anybody. I have to go back out through the studio. This is why I would like a laptop or whatever. But you know what? I'm not doing that. I'm literally, I would like to move to a town that does not allow the internet, cell phones, or microwaves. There are a couple places like that in the U.S., and that's where I'd like to go. Because do I believe demons can be attached to objects? I think they can come through objects. Satan is the prince of the air, right, guys? Now, I had notes here that I was going to read, but everybody had to be wankers and go off schedule with me. But I have notes, because that's who I do. I'm a dork. I'm a nerd. And it's a study lesson on spiritual warfare. And we talk about, I did a video on the old channel. I think I got erased. But I talk about principalities and powers and which is which and how to fight, basically, in the spirit. Not literally and physically, but through prayer and through behaviors. I have a whole notebook full of this stuff. So I can go over how you can battle these things. But I think they're coming through our screens. I've gotten enough clues if you go through my videos, the things that people have told me, the information that I found. I don't think the plasma screens are any good. They're using silica, which is ocean sand. I think the beast is in the ocean. I love the ocean, so I don't mean these things are going to happen because they were meant to happen, right? God said they would happen, but he didn't tell us everything that's going to happen. Why? So that he would have freedom to work, right? He knows he's bonded to his word, and he's not going to give all his strategy out to the enemy. He just knows that he's going to win because he's the maker of everything. There is no other outcome. I mean, it can't be no other way. But I don't look at God the way most people do. I'm a mother, and I know what it feels like to have your children turn on you, abuse you, tell you they hate you, make you cry all the time. And still I love them. They don't have to earn my love. It's us that's backwards. We're the ones with the backwards thinking God hates us, thinking God makes us suffer. He came down here to suffer with us. We're suffering because of the way we're living. We don't have to suffer. No parent wants that for their child. But we're not learning. You guys would rather sit here and tell me what a crackpot I am instead of listen to the wisdom that I've learned over the last few years and try to get you. I guarantee you guys, acting like that, you've got attachments. There's no way you don't. I guarantee you. And I guarantee people like that, they don't do well when they're on their own. That's why they don't want to be alone ever. They want to be around people because then they got to live with themselves. And I know what that's like too because I've been there. So you can call me crazy. It don't really matter. It don't bother me. It's dismissive, right? You think, well, nobody will listen to anything she says. Now they think she's crazy. Man, dude, I already told everybody in 2017, 2018 what was going to happen. I told you all this was going to happen. I told you the crazy train, the trying to commit people, ending people, the life insurance. And that was before CV even happened. And then COVID happened. Now, if you all don't want to listen, that's fine. But you can't say that you weren't warned. God is talking to a lot of us right now. And we are just trying to help and do our part. But if you want to sit in your mom's basement and play with your freaking video games and pretend like you've got a life, or do you actually want to participate in life and quit staring at a screen? I don't play no more, man. I don't play. This ain't the channel for that. Florida, please email me. We should talk about that privately, because, yeah, we have very similar messages we're hearing, and that's. I try to talk to people who have had similar dreams and experiences, and if you'd like to share with me, I can even share anonymously, but I just like to talk to people in private to see if there's any information I can give them that might help them as far as ridding themselves of the crap that's floating around now. Because, I mean, you don't have to believe me, guys, but that's what's going on. These demons. I mean, straight up, that's what it is. Fallen angels. And you can't see them, but they do have substance. And this is where we get really led astray. And I showed you, go back, I did a video, and the cover picture is of Bigfoot. Go watch that, because I explain a few things in that video. And yeah, dude, it's weird. I get it. I know what you guys think of me. But again, there are pastors out there making millions of dollars talking about fallen angels and demons. So please, tell me again how crazy I am. Maybe I'll write a book. Maybe I'll be a millionaire. God, people are just so rude. I don't get it, man. I just don't. We're not gonna get well treating each other like this. Society is not gonna magically recover if we keep spewing ignorance and rudeness and discourtesy and crap to each other. Basically, we're like monkeys throwing poo at each other in the zoo. We're just pointing fingers, blaming everybody else. You can't control nobody else. But we can control us and how we react and respond to our situations. So I would advise you, watch the videos I have about consent. I have some notes here. I'll do a shorter video tomorrow just to post. And the next stream, we're going to talk about the difference between analog and digital and why it would be beneficial if you're somebody who has to use technology to go backwards a little bit. Because I think that's why things are so wonky right now. We've opened a lot of doors. Our children opened a lot of doors. All you got to do is this. Check this out. I know you all have seen it probably, but I'll show you again. And I was waking up at 3 a.m. again for a long time here. That's another reason I took a break. I have to pray before bed. Like, these things are relentless, dude. Especially if you live with people who are not believers. They don't leave you alone. And nobody wants to hear it. Oh, you're crazy. You're crazy. Dude, we're dealing with this stuff of people like you because of your ignorance. Look at all this. It's been going on for years. 3 a.m. challenge, 3 a.m. challenge, 3 a.m. challenge. Why 3 a.m., guys? What is the 3 a.m.? And it is really creepy how much the Slender Man and like the boogeyman type story, how much they all have in common. And for those of you who are of a strong nature, we're going to talk a little bit about the simulation theory and why I disagree with it. But I think they got it just a little confused. I think that the Earth realm is built like a computer. And I think it's starting to become very visible to some of us with any type of tech background at all. And it kind of makes me mad that nobody's pointing it out. But I guess, again, I guess certain people aren't ready for certain information. Because again, you can traumatize somebody even just by telling them the truth if they're not ready for it. Look at this though. It's been going on for years. And if you're playing these things, right, and you're doing it with a screen, what is a screen? It's a scrying mirror. It's a mirror. You see your own reflection, right? That's what people used to use to do divination. So now they're doing this stuff, but they're not just doing it, right? They're broadcasting it and putting it where? In the airwaves. All of this is affecting people. All of it. And if you have connections with people on Facebook or YouTube and they post certain kind of things, I do believe you can get electronically harassed because of that stuff too. By the AI or whatever's in there. Oh my gosh. Shut up, man. Are they serious? Oh my gosh, I can't. Anyways, yeah. So I think there are reasons that we're dealing with all this fallout now, and all you got to do is look around. So we'll talk again soon. Thank you guys for being here for me. It's kind of been a rough time. If you are a praying kind, please pray for me. And I love you. More soon, guys. Bye.